There we go. All right. We're live. We did it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 100. I've done 100 of these gosh darn interviews. How have we gotten here? Anyway, well, and we finally got AndrewG on, the speedrunning founding father over here.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. I'm glad this is finally happening. We did it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This will be good.
Should be. There should be a lot to discuss, I think. You've kind of been doing this a couple years, right?
Just a few.
Just a few. Well, I'm sure most people watching this know who you are, but just in case, introduce yourself to the people.
So I am Andrew G, formerly known as Andrew G 1990 in some places, but always wanted to go by Andrew G. The 1990 was always just uh, is it Andrew G is it often taken because it's common. So anyway, I'm Andrew G. I do speed runs. Can you believe that?
I sure hope so.
I I I do high score stuff and challenges, and it's mostly Nintendo stuff, but I've done pretty much anything you can think of. Though I don't always post all the things that I do. Um, but I love older games, arcade, NES, Super Nintendo, N64. Mostly Nintendo stuff is my go-to, and I love to master games, and I've been doing it for I can't even pinpoint like an exact moment, maybe, but I've probably been doing speedrunning for like literally 30 years at this point. So,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
yeah,
That that's a
because
few years.
I've always liked breaking games and taking them apart and like all that kind of stuff. So I'm Andrew G,
That
and
is you.
good to be here. Nice to
Yep,
good to finally interview with you.
we're finally doing it. Probably, I'm sure the most requested. I don't get a lot of requests, but I know it's in the back of everyone's mind. Like, why hasn't this happened yet? We're doing it. Episode 100. It was all planned. We all had it
I
planned.
probably I probably should admit I used to have the Super Mario Brothers world record for
Oh
80%
yeah, I
for like
forgot about that.
almost almost like 10 years or so. So
Yeah,
something like that.
just I think
Uh,
probably have held it the longest out of anyone so far. There he is.
and that's my biggest claim to fame. Uh and Super Mario 2 and 3 and World and Lost Levels.
Pretty much all
A
of
little
them,
bit of
you
each
know.
of those. And
Yeah.
Donkey Kong.
hmm Yeah,
And
there's a
Excite
lot.
Bike. It's
Yeah.
really everyone loves Excite Bike.
Yeah, I leave that to the professionals personally, but it's a fine casual game. It's hard though when you don't
It's a
casual
goofy
it.
game. I just like it because it's goofy.
It is a little goofy. All right. Well, um this is probably going to be a hard first question, but how did you start?
Uh, so, um, so let's think about this. Well, when I was really little, my mom got me a Game Gear, and that was something that was like my first. Well, hold on. First, let's go back.
Let's set the
um,
stage.
no, I have an older brother and older sister, and when I was like 2 3 years old, I already had like an NES and a Super Nintendo because my brother was into video games and he had bought those things, and then ended up doing a paper route, and we had a whole bunch of games for NES and Super Nintendo. And then shortly after, got an N64. Um, but my mom also got me a Game Gear, uh, like I don't know, probably I don't even know I don't know when they came out, maybe like 1995 or something. But But I always liked getting good at games. Just beating the game, just beating a game was is enough. But um, for me, I'm kind of just like for Game Gear. I had a kind of a limited amount of games, and I really liked playing for Game Gear, and so I would spend a lot of time just playing them over and over again. And legitimately, I speedran Power Rangers probably when I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8. uh, in the sense that like I rooted it out and like I did a full run. I didn't record it or anything. I didn't even time it, but it was more like I did it over and over again and just saw how well I could do it. And I tried to beat the game without like taking any damage, and then how fast can I do it? So it kind of it kind of evolved from there where like I would play a lot of games, and especially if they had an in-game timer, I would try to get best times I could for different things. But Power Rangers for Game Gear was probably like my first real game that I tried to speed run.
Earlier
Um,
than most people start speedrunning too.
yeah, but and sorry, my dog's being a. Hold on, just one sec, one sec.
Well, at least it's not the mic isn't
Sorry,
picking it
I'm
up.
sorry about this.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, I don't think he would be a pain. Sorry. No, so that was one of the first ones, Power Rangers. And then I tried Diddy Kong Racing. N64 was one of the first games that I also tried to get good at and tried to optimize the times and everything. Probably when I was like 9 in 1999 or 19, maybe 8, 1998. Um, that one, I think most people try to get good at racing games. I took it to another level. Even as a kid, I would be like trying to save milliseconds off my times over and over and over again. Um, and I think most people did that. You might not necessarily call that speed running in the sense that we speed run things now, but I also did do full game runs for Diddy Kong Racing too. When I was like 8 or 9, like even rooting in between, like uh, completing a stage and then rooting how to get from one course to the other across the map. Like spent a lot of time doing that kind of thing, and I got really good at Diddy Kong Racing. That was probably like the first game that I would say was like I think I timed it. I used to time it. It was more just a personal challenge than anything else. But I didn't even know to record things back then. I didn't know that I could, and the game kept track of my times for each course, so I kind of felt like I didn't need to necessarily record things on video. Um, but I used to like I'd grab a stopwatch and be like, oh, I beat the game in like however many. Uh, I think it was hours, um, but I had a lot of fun doing that, and that was really like kind of an introduction to it for me. And it was like before speedrunning was a thing, which is kind of funny because like this is just what I did for fun in my spare time. Like I just liked getting good at games, and speedrunning felt natural as a thing to do that's challenging. Um, so it's like I was basically speedrunning before speedrunning was a thing. Um, but it's funny like as good as I felt I was back then. I mean, I was only like 8 or 9, maybe 8, 9, 10, doing Diddy Kong Racing, and I even did GoldenEye around that time, a little bit after, like full game runs. But as good as I thought I was, it wasn't particularly good. I didn't know the techniques or anything, and I just kind of did my own thing. So nowadays, like if I had videos of that stuff, it would be like Just, like pretty basic stuff. But but I spent a lot of but I did spend a lot of time on that. Like I probably spent months on Diddy Kong Racing and uh Wave Race and Extreme G and Road Rash, which that was PlayStation, and Twisted Metal 3. It's like just I speedran all those games probably when I was like 10 or earlier. Maybe like between the time I was like 9 and 12, I did all these different speed runs, and I kind of forgot that I did that because I didn't have any recordings of them. And looking back, I'm like, when did I do these speed runs? It must have, like, was it like 2004? I'm like, no, it was like 1999, 2000, 2001. Uh, so I've basically been speedrunning forever. Um, and I I really enjoy it. I still enjoy it. It's uh it was just a fun thing to do, like mastering a game for a single player game. There's not much you can do after you beat it a few times. Like you can 100% the game, but then like, what is there to do after that? Speedrunning just I would always come up with a million challenges for myself. So speedrunning was it's like I had all these different challenges I would do. How I would do it without beating a game without taking a hit, beating a game without getting any weapons or whatever. Um and speedrunning was part of that. How fast can I beat it? And that was like what I used to do at the end because that was like, oh, that's the ultimate challenge. Um so yeah.
Mhm.
Hopefully that answers
I
answers
I
the
think
question to a
so.
degree.
Yeah. I mean, speedrunning's great for replayability. Again, especially with
Yeah,
single player games. So
yeah.
we love.
I,
That's why we
I
do it, right?
I've speedrun just so many different things. It's like it's hard to even. It's like you know, uh, think of all the games you play. I mean, if you're a gamer, like all the games you play growing up, and like you know, for me, I beat a lot of games growing up, and I probably speedran like 70% of them, just because I liked getting good at games and just messing around with them and like figuring out how to break them and stuff. Um, but, like I remember one of the first speedruns I did too was Pokemon Yellow, and um, I remember like my mom had to do something and she dropped me off at my friend's house, and I didn't have Pokemon Yellow, but I had beaten Pokemon Blue like multiple times at that point, and um, they were just watching me, and like I had nothing to do there, but they had Pokemon Yellow, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just spend the whole day beating this as fast as I can, and like I think I did it in like 4 or 5 hours. Um, this is probably like 1999 when I was 9 or 10, or 2000, and I just always was like, I'm such a weirdo. Like, why do I do these things?
Well, it
But
ended up
it was
working
just
out.
fun for me. I'm like, what? I'm just like weird. Nobody else does this. Like, or like, I remember one time in this during the summer, I'm like, I'm gonna beat Super Mario World like 100% it 3 times in a row. I'm gonna fill the files to 96 exit 3 times in one day, like playing for 8 hours and doing that. Just like, oh, that was fun. So, so I kind of would just do these things in my spare time, and I still do because it is really fun. It continues to be fun, but yeah, it's been a hobby. It's been a hobby for me, kind of before speedrunning was like a thing. Uh, and I didn't. It's really too bad that I didn't record these things. It's too bad. I don't even have times for these things anymore. It used to just be, I write things down on a piece of paper, and but it didn't really matter. So I would just do as best as I can, do something for a week, 2 weeks, a month or two, and then move on to the next thing. Um, I just wish that I had recordings of things now.
I guess, but you were like a literal child, so it makes sense that
Yeah.
you didn't know how
Yeah,
to
it's like
do any of that.
right, like, I at some point it had occurred to me, like, "Oh, maybe I can just, like, hook a VCR up to my TV and press record," and it was very surprising to me that that did work, but I didn't realize that until, like, 2003. Um, that's when I started doing, like, my first real speedruns where, like, I would actually record them and time them and, like, you know, like, what speedrunning is now.
Hmm.
So, but, before that, it's like I don't even have any record, and it's just too bad. But again, it's not like any of it would have been that special, but it would have been cool to have a historical record of that stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, there's so
So,
little things from so long ago out
yeah,
there.
it's
You
like
kind of just have the word of mouth because it was so hard to
right.
record. Sometimes you just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just annoying because I'm like, I probably like if I knew that I could just use a VCR, like that would have been easy. It was easy to do that, but very difficult to get that online or whatever. There was like very little capture
Yeah, this is
software.
before YouTube or any like major video hosting
Exactly.
site.
It's like what even if I have a tape, I have a VHS tape of my thing, like what am I even gonna do with it? Like you know? But um but yeah, I had a lot of fun with it and I still love speedrunning a lot.
Hmm.
Very, very enjoyable. I
So,
think you enjoy it.
yeah. When did you find out other people were doing this?
Um so like um so I didn't really like I always just did this stuff and it was kind of cool because I saw these things. It didn't really occur to me to like even. It didn't really occur to me to even check what things were competitively because I just assumed that people weren't doing these things. I like again. I just am like, well, I'm a weirdo. I don't know. I just like to beat video games fast and do all these things, but I don't think anyone cares about it.
Fret not, there are
Um,
many weirdos out there.
I know, but well, I always went on. I did go online early on and like I found Cyber Score way back in the day, and I'm like, I don't know if any of these times, I don't know if these times are legit. A lot of them are really good. Um, Probably some of them were fake, some of them were real, but it was something I compared against. But I just took it with a grain of salt. Like I didn't think it was legit. Um, but it wasn't until I saw speedruns on TV that I thought, like, oh, like people actually compete on this because that would be pretty dang cool.
Speedruns on
Because
TV?
yeah,
Hmm.
because so I don't know if you know G4 TV.
Yes, I have. I
Um,
have heard of them.
I don't know if they even exist anymore. I think
They had
maybe
a comeback, but I think they're disbanded again or something.
they back in like 2002, 2003, they put out speedruns on TV of like they had one
Oh,
of The Legend of Zelda, um, and they had one of Super Mario Brothers. And I think there might have been a few other things, maybe like Portal. That would have been later, probably.
mm,
But
yeah.
um, but yeah, they had those, and I was like, dang, wait, like I'm good at games. Can I get my run on TV? Like that would be pretty cool.
I had no idea they were
Um,
broadcasting speedruns all the way back then. That's wild.
yeah, it was they I think it was on a segment. I don't know if it was on there were a lot of different shows like that. There was something called like I think there was something called like Electric Playground, which was sort of an offshoot of G4 TV. And there was some segment called Cinematech, which I was my one of my favorite things because it was mostly just gameplay of different games. Kind of, it just had like a variety of different games, and they talked about them and whatever. But I think it was cinema called Cinematech where they had this stuff, and I was like, they for Zelda they had it go for like a few minutes and then they'd like put it into like a little picture in picture thing in the corner. Um while they did other things, but they had like you could watch the speed run in this
Mm.
little box for the whole duration of the whole show. But I was like, wow, that's really cool. I've tried that kind of thing. And they showed Super Mario Brothers, and I watched it, and I'm like, really, like completely focused in on it. Like, wow, like hold on, like like somebody else is really good at Super Mario Brothers. Like, not surprising, but surprising that they're doing speedruns. And I watched it and I thought, I I think I can beat that. It was like really good, but I'm like, if that's like a thing, like I'm sure I can beat that. And I ended up after that, I ended up looking up finding Twin Galaxies, which is an outdated video game record website at this point. Um, they still
Hey, they're
do. They're
cool
mostly
because
known
I
for
have a
arcade.
perfect Mario 180% run on the boards there. It's great.
Yes,
I love it.
they're they're they are mostly known for arcade stuff, and they still do arcade tracking. Like they're still pretty well known for that. There's not really many other places for it, but arcade competition has kind of died off in a large way. Um, but they used to be taken seriously, and they really aren't that much anymore for a lot of
Yeah.
reasons. But you might know about that. But yeah, so but I found Twin Galaxies, and they were tracking speedruns, and um, like I just happened to stumble upon like it just front and center like Super Mario Brothers, like new world record for Super Mario Brothers, like on front page, front and center on Twin Galaxies, and I'm like, dang, like, like, okay, I'm gonna try this.
All the stars
um,
really aligned for you.
yeah, it was like, I don't even know. I think it was probably, it was 2003, maybe, or early 2004. But it's like Scott Kessler got 5 minutes and 20 seconds to Super Mario Brothers, and I'm like, I think I can beat that. Like this, I'm gonna try to beat that. And I spent a long time practicing and whatever. And I, at that point, I wasn't really like part of the forums or anything. I just kind of, I think I may have mentioned like, oh, I'm trying to do this. Um, and there came a day where I spent a few months on it, and there came a day where my first PB, first personal best for Super Mario Brothers was 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And I spent like I don't know. I spent a few months on it, and I only got my time down to 5 minutes and 20 seconds, which was the world record at the time. But when I went to check the website, Scott Kessler had improved to 5 minutes and 17 seconds. Um, and
That
I was
jerk.
like,
No.
oh. So it takes Twin Galaxies like I don't know. It took Twin Galaxies like a month to announce anything, so he had already done that like a month prior.
Yeah.
Um, and I kept trying and I kept trying, and it would just be like every week it'd be like Scott Kessler got a 514, Scott Kessler got a 513, Scott Kessler got a 512, Scott Kessler got a 511, and I'm like here it with my 520, like like I can't, like I don't know, I guess I'll give up, but I kept going with it for a while, and it was starting to be like, it felt like it was going to be perfect. Sometime like we're like, oh, it's getting pretty close to perfect. It tracked by whole seconds at that time, so it's like, so you could realistically, like, in
Don't
theory, get
worry.
a
They
perfect
still
time.
do.
Exactly. Yeah. Somebody that's interviewing me may have gotten the perfect time between
I
galaxies.
have to show
Uh,
off. It's just funny. It's a giant meme. I love it.
I don't even know what was it 505? I don't
Yeah,
even know.
they call it a
Okay.
505 because they
Okay.
start on, you remember, they start on selecting one player game instead of gaining control and then
Yeah.
glitchless. So, yeah, whatever my glitchless record at the time is, I just submitted it and it happened to accept it as a 505, and you cannot get a 504. So, take that, Twin
So
Galaxies.
Yeah, so a perfect time was possible after all.
True. Yes.
But we did think that so like I tried for a while and I got a little bit fed up with it. I switched between I actually started with you know what, thinking back, I actually started with Super Mario Brothers 3 because the Morimoto pass,
Oh
which is all
yeah.
famous
Hmm.
Mario 3 task, also came around right around that same point where I saw the G4 Super Mario Brothers speedrun. So I was like, it's like all these things popped up that was like, oh, I'm gonna try that. But that was actually it's weird. I went back and forth. I don't know exactly which one I think I did Super Mario Brothers 3 first, technically. And I think I got fed up with it really quick, then moved to Super Mario Brothers.
I do
And then
remember.
once
Sorry to cut in, but you streamed. You did a stream where you showcased like your oldest recorded speedrun, and it was Mario 3. I
yeah, I think
specifically
that
remember
really
this.
was I think Super Mario Brothers 3 really was my first ever like I think I have on my YouTube, I think I have my first ever recorded speedrun of anything. Um Especially cuz I wasn't even doing like the one first stage speedrun strategy. I was just like winging my way through it. So like there was I and I'm like I know that like I learned that in the first week that I tried speedrunning Super Mario Brothers 3. So like that literally was my first ever recording. Um but I tried Super Mario Brothers 3. So the way it went was like I went on Twin Galaxies, like I looked up times for Super Mario Brothers 1 and Super Mario Brothers 3, and then I um, tried Super Mario Brothers 3, and it's also because I had seen that task from like that early Mario 3 task that went viral and everyone really liked. Um, because I thought I was like, I don't know what this is, but it looks legitimate. It just looks like it's spliced together. I'm like, I don't think people could do all that. Like, I didn't know what it was, but I'm like, I knew enough to know like it is legitimate, but like I don't think the person did it. Like
Well,
maybe it's level by
you would
level.
find out a lot
Um,
later, the truth, I guess. Actually, I'm
yeah,
curious
like
because did this come out before YouTube?
yeah,
So
that
how
was
was it
on
spread
eBombs
around?
World.
Oh,
That was on eBombs World in
yeah.
2003
I don't know what that
or two,
is.
or 2004.
Pardon my youngness. I'm not familiar with like the old internet
E,
days.
e, eBombs World, it was a website where people would just post videos. It's like where all videos went. It was basically YouTube at the time.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Um,
I don't know why I've never
and
heard
there
of it.
wasn't all that much that was posted. It's like there wasn't like all that much that was posted. So like everything that was posted there basically was viral.
Yeah,
It
okay.
was just like post anything that's like really cool or like you know relevant. Basically. But and then like it turned out later, like everyone's like, yeah, like so like E-Bomb's World was like giving viruses to everybody.
Oh, of
It's like
course.
not great. Yeah. But
Classic old
like
internet.
yeah, but that's where you'd find that sort of stuff. There wasn't many other places for that kind of thing at that point. Uh but yeah, that was before YouTube. Um and like my friends would be like I had friends talking about that and like it was like a big deal at the time, 2000 I think 2003. Because everyone was like, "What is this? How is someone that good?" And then later we find out it's a tool assisted speed run. Um, I didn't really like. I knew it. It's weird because I knew it was legitimate. Like the gameplay is legitimate. Like I know I'm like
There's no
I know they didn't.
cheat
I know
codes
they
or
weren't
anything.
using cheat
Yeah.
or anything. But I'm like, if they did it level by level, like yeah, I could see that being possible. Even still, it seems a little bit too good to be true. But so anyway, back to so I went to Twin Gal after the G4 thing, and after that, it was around the same time. I went to Twin Galaxies, found out that they keep records for these things. There was already a guy who did Mario 3 well, also. His name was Richard Ureta. Um, He had a really good. He had 11:32, I think, which at the time was like, oh, that's really good. Um, which is not like it's not anything special at all. But he did quick. He got an 11:11 with no hands back in 2003, I think.
Jeez.
And I was like that's like for that time, that's
That's really good, I
unheard of.
think. Yeah.
You know, oh, wow, like that's kind of a lot. And I tried to beat it. I did speed runs for Mario 3. I tried to beat that. He got that time, I think, and I said, "Oh, I kept trying," and I'm like, "I can't do it." I think I got an 11. I think I ended up with like an 11:20 something, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go do Super Mario Brothers because I'm having more luck with that." Um, and and then once Scott Kessler was doing really good, I went back to Mario 3, and it's like I just kept going back and forth. But eventually I set it on. I'm like, I'm gonna do Mario. I'm gonna do Mario 1. I'm gonna get the record, and I decided I'm gonna try to get it. And a guy named Trevor Seguin, he popped up and beat Scott Kessler's world record, which was a 5:10, I think. He got a 5:09 by Twin Galaxies rules, and that was thought to be perfect. Um, and I was a little bit disappointed with that because I wanted to be the guy that got the perfect time. Uh, but I still felt like, oh, maybe a 5:08 is possible, or maybe see what I can do. And I eventually got a 5:09 myself and tied Trevor Seguin, about I don't know how, maybe like 8 or 9 months after he did. And a lot of people don't recognize that that was even a record at that point. I had that record. Like when people look at my history for Super Mario Brothers, they look at 2000s from my 5 minute run, the 2007 to 2014 when I held any percent, but I tied the world record at 5:09 in 2005 when I was 15. And technically it was a few milliseconds faster than Trevor's run, but they only timed it by
Mm.
full seconds. So I felt a little bit annoyed with that because, I was okay with it. I'm like, it's a tied world record. I still have world record, but like, I even talked to him. I met him at Fun Spot, which is an arcade in New Hampshire. I happened to meet him in 2006, and we talked about that. We even played Super Mario Brothers together. Um, we talked about the milliseconds, and he's like, well, if it was like a racing title, like milliseconds matter, like, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. But anyhow, my run was technically faster, but we were like equally skilled, so it was all cool. Like I have no, I'm happy to, like, in the context of what it is. Like we both had the world record, you know, and I was happy with that. Like I didn't feel the need to be like, no, I'm the best. But though technically I had the faster time. Um, and we both thought it was perfect. Actually, at that point, we thought it was perfect, and most people thought it was perfect until Scott Kessler got a 5:08, maybe 6 months after that, and uh, it was like, oh dang! Like I did not expect that. Didn't expect to get beaten. I was actually kind of done with Super Mario Brothers at that point. I was like, oh, I got the world record. I'm good. But after that, I felt like I was like, it like cut me to the like, oh no, I lost the
My
record.
pride. No.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, no, because it was so unexpected. Nobody like back then. Nobody like shared. We talked about. I mean, we certainly talked about strategies, and like I would be like, these are my best in-game times for Super Mario Brothers. But like, we wouldn't really even post videos because it was kind of hard to post videos. And we didn't really even share strategies, so it was just surprising. Like, oh, and the reason that he was able to get that is because he saved a frame rule. He saved the 8-2 frame rule going over the piranha plant halfway through. Because I didn't realize you could. I didn't realize you could slow down and speed up over the piranha.
Mm.
I thought you had to do the complete slowdown halfway through 8-2 over the piranha. So there was like, so it's just more like it's more a just a knowledge gap that caused that to be possible, because I felt like, oh, I think my run is like as good as I can do, and it pretty much was, um, until that came along. But we were missing frame rolls all over the place. We just didn't know it. It's the other thing. It's like we're losing time. We're losing time everywhere, and we didn't realize anything.
And just
So
to clarify, because I haven't asked yet, are these times like Twin Galaxies timing method?
yeah, that's Twin Galaxies timing. So
So
it's
these
a
are
508.
yeah.
A 508 is a 505, and a 509 is a 506.
Yeah, okay.
And these are glitchless
Hmm.
because there wasn't any nobody was doing glitches at that point. The only one you could have done was the wrong warp in 8.4, but Twin Galaxies banned it, so it would only and it was like, oh, it saves like half a second, so we're like, what? I don't, or it was a third of a second or something. So it was like, it's okay. But I got kind of fed up with that. The story is that I got fed up with it and after Scott Kessler got the 508, I was kind of like, why aren't we using glitches? um, I don't know. Just because I felt like I don't want to. I felt like if I'm gonna do a really good run, like I don't want to limit myself to Twin Galaxies rules, because I don't. Speed Demos Archive had come along at that point, and they were allowing glitches, or at least they were allowing more. They weren't allowing everything. They didn't allow wrong warps, actually.
Oh.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, Speed Demos Archive didn't allow wrong warps until 2007, right around the time that I submitted my Super Mario Brothers speedrun.
Hmm.
I may have had an impact on the legality of wrong warping by submitting that run, because I'm like, so it's kind of interesting because when my tied world record, my 509, was beaten by Scott Kessler with a 508, I wanted to I wanted to get the world record back, and I felt like I could probably tie on Twin Galaxies, and I still wanted to do that, but I felt like I wanted to just see what I could do, and neither Speed Demos Archive nor Twin Galaxies would accept my, like, I didn't think either of them would accept the run that I was trying to do. Because at the time they didn't, so they called wrong warping mysterious teleportation. They used to
Oh,
call it
great.
that. Yeah.
That's a
No,
much
but
better name.
no mysterious teleportation of any in any games, and it's wrong warps, essentially. I mean, that's literally what that is. Um, so when I was doing my runs, I didn't expect Speed Demos Archive to. I'm like, maybe they will take it, but probably not, because um, doing the wrong warps in 8.4 and 4.2 is mysterious teleportation, like, exactly, you know.
Yeah.
so so uh so I kind of just wanted to do my own thing, and I felt like that was the right decision. I And in the meantime, so I was it's you're gonna have to know Super Mario Brothers a little bit. You know Super Mario Brothers.
I do,
I don't
yes.
know if everyone else knows Super Mario Brothers. They might, after watching all the Summoning Salt videos, but
That's why I'm here.
um
So.
when my run was beaten, I didn't have any. My first reaction was, I'm gonna try and tie that by Twin Galaxies rules, and I was playing and playing, and I was looking for new ways to save time, just because I was curious. Um, I got a little bit upset about wall jumping, because I could do wall jumps and nobody else. And I'm like, why isn't that allowed? Like, isn't that kind of not a glitch? Is like they do it. You'd have wall jumping in like later Mario games. So I kind of was trying to argue that wall jumping should be a thing.
Hmm.
And everyone's like, well, nobody's gonna do that. I'm like, well, I'm kind of trying to do that. So I kind of want a ruling on that, and they didn't allow that. And I'm kind of like, well, that's stupid. I want to do wall jumps. I could do a wall jump. That'll save like a second, maybe, if I could do it right. Um, so I got kind of mad about Twin Galaxies, and I felt like they were kind of contradicting themselves. Like they had a lot of like it's all up to the referees and what they decide. Yeah, I'd look at games like Pac-Man, even like Pac-Man. It's like it's one of the most classic games. But even Twin Galaxies, they allow you to do something called a buoy, which is going straight through a ghost. And I'm
Mhm.
like, if that's allowed, like why not allow like wall jumping in Super Mario Brothers? Like there's no like how is that any different than that kind of thing? So I just felt like they weren't consistent with their rules, and I got annoyed with that, and I felt like I'm just gonna do my own thing. And if Speed Demos Archive, YouTube was a thing at this point, so I felt like if Speed Demos Archive nor Twin Galaxies accept it, then I'll just upload it on YouTube, and it is what it is. At the end, if nobody accepts it, it's just a cool video. That's kind of how I felt about it. Um, so I was trying to do a wall jump, and that was my main idea to save time over Scott Kessler, and also doing the wrong warp in 8-4. I was like, that might be enough to push it into a 507. Um, and my intermediate idea was, the next idea I had was that if you hit the vine in 4-2 and put it at the edge of the screen, and then you backtrack and then loop across and go down the pipe. Uh, I realized that would save a second or so, maybe. So for a little while, I was doing that, and that almost made it into a Speed Demos Archive run until I discovered the backward bumps method.
Mhm.
I just kind of stumbled on that while I was doing practice and doing runs. I just like put two and two together. I'm like, wait a minute, I could do this thing. I bump into the wall backwards, it pushes me forward. And that was a pretty cool realization. I don't know how I just noticed everything. So um that technique saved 5 seconds. Um so that was a big deal. And I didn't tell anyone about it. And then I got my 5 minute run, which was uh 5 second improvement over Scott Kessler
Yeah,
with
the
the
five
wrong
minute is
warp.
now not the Twin Galaxies timing method, so.
Yeah. Now that's so that would be like it was like a 503 Twin Galaxies,
Mhm.
but
But since
well,
we're
Twin Galaxies wouldn't accept it. So
yeah, so
5 minutes speeding was
cutting out that
okay.
2.5, a little over 2.5, waiting at the start.
Yeah.
So.
So my goal was I was like I'm going to because I knew I could after I found that I'm like it saves 5 seconds. I know that I can beat Scott Kessler's time now. Absolutely. I don't know if anyone will accept it. But I didn't want to submit it until I felt like my skill level was equal or better than his though, because I felt like I don't want to just have a I don't want to just have an improvement be because I found a time save. I want it to be as skillful or more skillful than Scott Kessler's run. Otherwise, it just didn't feel like an achievement to me. Um, so I didn't share. I got 504s, 503s, 502s.
Mm.
But I didn't tell anyone, and I
This is the
wanted to get
first
the
I'm
five
hearing
minute
about
run.
it, so there you go.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody really. There's a lot of like early history that even Summoning Salt doesn't know or doesn't talk about because I didn't really get into it. But yeah, I got these times and I kept it to myself, and eventually, because I was aiming for the 5 minute time,
Mhm.
I'm like, if I beat him, if it saves about 4.5 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever to do the wrong warps and wall jump, then if I get a 5 minute time, then I'll feel like I actually beat the world record, not like I just found a new thing. Oh, I used glitches, and that's the reason that I'm better. You know what I mean? Because glitches were also like taboo a little bit. Like some people like glitches and some people didn't, and it's still like that a little bit. But glitches are very widely accepted now. But back then it was like, I didn't want to be like, oh, I beat the world record, but only because I used glitches. So, so I matched his skill. I did a run that was I got the 5 minute run, and that matched or was better than his run skill wise. And it had a wall jump and it had the wrong warps, and everyone was like shocked because nobody had even seen the backward bump method yet. Um, Nobody knew anything about that, so beating the Super Mario Brothers world record by 5 full seconds was kind of ridiculous. I'm like, I still think it's probably probably like my proudest achievement of anything that I've done at this point, because it was such a shocking thing at the time. Um, Nobody expected it. Nobody even knew I was trying to like do the run either. So, so yeah, so that happened and everyone went crazy, and that's kind of how I became AndrewG. People started to like really be like, "Wow, who is this guy?" Because before that, it's like I don't know. I felt like before that, I felt like nobody believed anything that I said. Like I would, I'd say a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to do this thing, and everyone would be like, "Okay, sure, Andrew, whatever." And once I finally did that, everyone like kind of like was like, "Oh wow, you're actually good," and whatever. so, so it was kind of like it was just a big deal, and I think it was on Kotaku back in the day. If I remember right, like I got announced by all like these big things. It was viral for the time. Wasn't like I think it only got like few 100,000 views, but back then that was a big deal.
I feel
But my
like that's
video
a
was
lot
circulating
today,
everywhere.
in my
Yeah, it's still a
opinion.
lot.
So
I mean, it was the video was circulating everywhere. Like it's just everywhere, and um, it's like it's cool to be like, oh yeah, that was me, and nobody, and even like I would say that nobody would believe me. No, like even it would be like I'd be like on a random gaming forum and be like, yeah, I did that. And no, everyone would be like, no, that's not you. Like, okay, whatever. Back then, it's like, and everyone thought it was cheated. Is the other thing. It's
Mm.
just it's kind of unfortunate because I was like, nowadays everyone knows that these things are legit, and like back in the day, yeah, I post that, and even Speed Demos Archive posts it, but on YouTube 90% of the comments are this is cheated, that's not possible, like that pipe doesn't take you to the warp zone, like duh.
Just DSC you into a
you
coin
know?
cache, nothing more.
Yeah, but I'm like understandable. I mean, it's a glitch, and then there's half the people who are like, well, it's using glitches so it doesn't count, and there's still people like that, but it's not like how it is now. So
It's a lot more
it was a little
respected
bit.
nowadays.
Yeah, I just felt like people didn't like, I don't know. A lot of people thought it was cool though, and the people who are in the scene know that is legit, which is kind of all that mattered. Um, and I just was like, it's like going through the old comments. It's just like cheated, you're a cheater, you stink, whatever, glitcher, hacker.
Boo.
It's just like everything's more. People are more well informed now, which is good. So. So that's a lot. Sorry if I'm rambling too much.
The whole point of the show is to ramble, so you go off,
Oh,
I guess.
yeah. So I had a lot of fun with it, and I eventually got a 508 by Twin Galaxies a few months after that. At which point, nobody. It's kind of the point. I always feel like it's kind of the point at which Twin Galaxies started to become like irrelevant because they were tracking the speedruns, and everyone felt like they were like the official speedrun tracker, even though Demo's archive was um, also tracking like just tracking speedruns. But Twin Galaxies was respected as the record keeper, so they, you know, it's like Twin Galaxies kind of dropped the ball. They could have been the speedrun, like hub or everything, but they didn't evolve. They just kept everything as glitchless, and people disliked that, and so Speed Demos Archive took over.
Given what we know
Um,
now, I'm not surprised Twin Galaxies fumbled the bag.
yeah, it's like, I mean, it's too bad though, because they were great between like when I joined Twin Galaxies in like 2003, and between 2003 and like 2009, Twin Galaxies was a great website. There were actually, they were like actually some of the best players on there. Um, it wasn't a joke. Like you had all these top player guys submitting things and like being legit. Um, and everyone eventually just moved away from there because Speed Demo's Archive was better, and Twin Galaxies was just doing things that people didn't want, and trying to convince them like that you guys gotta like start doing it differently, and they said no. So it's just how it went. But it's kind of sad because that was the first thing I found, and I still as much as I feel like Twin Galaxies kind of is obsolete now, I still kind of wish that it had uh not become irrelevant because it was a cool website. Um, and nowadays it's kind of it's just kind of too late for
Yeah,
them
no.
now. Yeah. But,
Oh well. Product of its time.
um, yeah, yeah. It was a great thing for what it was, and um, but I'm kind of happy how things turned out. I think Speed Demos Archive. I'm glad that Speed Demos Archive I'm glad that they started. It was good that they had allowed glitches and such. And then it was great that they eventually said, okay, we're going to allow out of bounds, and we're going to allow mysterious teleportation, wrong warps, and we're going to allow all these different things, but we're going to put them in different categories if it makes sense or whatever, which is how things are done now. So, yeah.
So Speedrunner's Archive happily accepted everything.
Yeah, which was great. And for a long time, the runs on Speed Demos Archive were considered world record basically for probably about 5 years
And they would only
between
show
like
the top run, right?
right. It would, yeah, they only accepted the very best run and would showcase it. It wasn't a records keeping site, but I remember even a post from a guy named Freddie Anderson, Frezzy Man.
Preziman, yes.
He Yeah, he's a really good speedrunner, which somehow people don't know about him very much. But
Oh, I do. He
I
takes off
remember
his
he
shirt
had,
and crushes NES games.
yeah,
So
he was really good. Like he was good as I am at speedrunning. Speedran like tons of games, high level. Had the record for Mario 3 and Contra. Like
Mhm.
really, it's too bad that his history is a little bit lost in a way. I'm glad that Summoning Salt exists to document these kind of things and other people. But anyway, I remember he had a website and he would be like, these are the times on Speed Demo's Archive, which is the world record, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true. Like every run on Speed Demo's Archive was basically the world record up until like 2012, at which
like as
point,
far as you guys knew, because
yeah, I mean, it was kind of like that's where you submit. That's if you're gonna have the record, that's where you submit. That's basically how it went. Um, and eventually it ended up being that Speed Demos Archive was updating too slowly. Um, there became more runners, more times got improved quicker, and so it just became very outdated quickly because now all these times on Speed Demos Archive are not even close to the world record, and so then Speed Demos Archive kind of became obsolete too in that way. Though they still do Speed Demos in Awesome Games Done Quick. So I think without Awesome Games Done Quick, they would be completely irrelevant at this point.
I forget it like stemmed from there, but yeah,
Yeah, I know. I almost do too. Like it, but
it became its own entity essentially.
yeah, I mean, it's still run by the same, like Mike Uyama.
Mhm.
He's a really good speedrunner too. I don't think many people know that. The guy who basically founded saying Speed Demo's Archive, Awesome Games Done Quick. Um, he was a really good speedrunner, but he hosted it in his basement for the first one. Uh, and yeah, but I mean, it all stemmed from Speed Demo's Archive, though. The meetup was arranged on Speed Demo's Archive. I remember even the topic of should we do a marathon? Like, this seems like a cool idea. Have some sort of meetup. And everyone was like, yeah, that would be cool. And pretty much all the people who showed up to the MagFest's like first speedrun event um, and marathon, there were 2 years in a row. It was like a MagFest meetup, and then we had the marathon the next year. But pretty much all those people were like serious into speedrunning, like very good players. A lot of the names are still recognizable. Um, it's just like the group of like 30 of us or something was top-notch players legitimately. Um, so I think that's why it gained traction because like we actually were very good compared to anything that had been done before. Um, like we probably could have put more prep into a lot of it, but I think I think it turned out pretty dang good. But it's funny because a lot of these people are still around to some capacity, whether involved in some speedrunning things still, or helping with games done quick, or being involved in Twitch or whatever. Like Feasel, Rom Scout, Trihex, myself. That's the few people. And there's a lot of people, and I just can't. I'm having trouble thinking of everyone's names, but I'm like, who was there? uh, but
It only was
yeah, I mean,
14
even
years ago.
Sinister One, he was there. He was there in two. Yeah, he was there. So just like a lot of well-known people that are still even around now went
Mhm.
to the first Games Done Quick.
Yeah, and
So,
I've heard that obviously the plan wasn't to be in the basement, but the internet didn't
yeah,
work.
we were trying to do it at Magfest, but their internet was just
Hmm.
abysmal. It was horrible. So I was actually the first run, and we tried to do Mega Man, Mega Man, yeah,
Oh yeah,
Mega Man,
you
and
are
was
the
just like,
first ever GDQ run. Just full stop.
yes,
That is true.
yeah. They were like, at the last second, they're like, you want to be the first runner? And I'm like, sure. It's funny to be like, yeah, I was the first ever run for Games Done Quick.
And
It was
I don't
not
think
very good.
no audio, no camera, just the game,
Yeah, it was just a Mega Man.
just the
And then
man.
they did eventually add camera and whatever, but yeah, that was not a good run. Uh, it was fun though. I was very nervous doing that because I've never done anything like that.
Yeah, that was your
Um,
first live performance.
yeah. So I'm like, ooh, I don't know. And I kind
And
of I choked pretty hard.
everyone's
I was running
first
on
live
little.
performance.
It's like a lot of things. These kind of things like running on little sleep, and I had to do runs at like 4 a.m. and then like, oh, okay, now I have to do a run at 11. It's like I don't have any time to sleep. Here, sleep on this cold floor. Okay.
They had a
It
couch,
was a
right?
mess. It was a mess. I literally slept on Mike Uyama's like basement floor in a sleeping bag. Uh,
The show
but
must go
but it was
on.
I'm just like whatever. It's at that point it was just like I want to be involved with this. Like I will do what it takes to be involved with this. I think I ran like 15 games at the first Games Done
My
Quick,
God.
something like that. Um, and like I had practiced, but it's hard to be good at that many games. And I did kind of horribly. for a lot of it, but it was fun. It was good. There were a lot of cool things that happened, weird, surprising things. Uh, it worked out fine, but nothing like the standards of games done quick now. But it's just like who can the whole thing was who can run games like I don't we only have like 30 people. I'm like, and me and Frezzy Man were like we could run 15 games. Sure, why not?
No
um
issue.
yeah. So that was kind of hilarious and great and unorganized, but worked out in the end.
I mean, it led to one of the. I'm trying to think like just how like established they are, like their title, like they're one of the. They raised the most like biggest gaming charity fundraiser. I don't know. They have some title
Yeah,
that's like, yeah, okay.
yeah. I
I don't
think
want to
I don't know how
misspeak,
many.
but
I don't know how much they've raised at this point, but it's like I think it's over 5 million, right? I don't know, something like probably more than that.
oh, they're probably
Um,
over 50 million. I,
yeah,
I
maybe.
think,
I don't
yeah.
even. I don't keep very good. I forget how long it's been going
Hell,
on.
I've
Also,
been to one GDQ where that event alone raised 3 million. So
true. Yeah, kind of forget that.
I,
So
I
I
think they
I remember
recently broke 50 million in total, like across everything ever.
really. I didn't even realize it was
I
that much.
think.
I thought maybe like I was thinking. Yeah, I'm a little bit because I'm a little bit more inactive nowadays. I mean, I still keep track of things, but games done quick, not so much. I grew away from that a little bit. I still want to go to them, but um, it was just the cost and everything and
Oh yeah.
the time to do it.
Believe me, I know.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I liked being. I was involved for a long time though, up until a point. But um, yeah. Anyway, I mean, the first event, we raised $5,000.
And
But
that's a
and that was
lot.
funny.
Yeah.
What's funny though, it's like, well, it was like a big deal. We were like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, 5,000, which is funny because it's like it wasn't like. I mean, it is a lot though for a
Hmm.
first marathon, but
I think that's
and
just
then
a
the
lot in
next year
general,
was
honestly, but
yeah.
you just don't think about that because of how absurd they raise
I mean,
nowadays.
it was a big deal back then, and then and now it's like millions.
Yeah.
I remember the yeah, first year was 5,000. Second year, I think the second year our goal was $10,000, and I think we raised 25,000.
Oh my god.
If I remember right. And then the next year our goal was like I think next year our goal was like 30,000. We raised 50,000 or something like that. And then it was like, oh, we raised $250,000 the next year or something when our goal was 100,000. I think. Crazy stuff, like growing
Hmm.
exponentially. Um, Kind of crazy to be involved with that, having been one of the first people with that. Like,
Literally the first person
uh,
to do a run.
yeah, literally the first person who ever do a run for games done quick. But we, I think its success contributed to a lot of people. I would say probably and I don't know how to say it, and Haza and Nate, Radix, Mike Uyama, all the people who are kind of in control of Speed Demo's archive really made it happen. But of course, we needed the runners too. Um, to get I think my stuff. I always think like um, I think my Super Mario Brothers stuff brought a lot of exposure to speedrunning in general. Though it's not like the most hyped up game. I mean, it's weird. It is and it isn't.
Hmm.
It's not Super Mario Brothers 60. It's sorry, Super Mario Brothers 64. It's not Super Mario 64. It's Super Mario Brothers, and it's it's popular in its own kind of way. You know. Uh,
It is
so
interesting.
I'm happy to have brought a lot of exposure to it, while not necessarily being like Siglemic or Cheese or Suigi, whatever. you know.
Insert SM64 runner here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, but Super Mario Brothers certainly very notorious, certainly very prestigious, despite not being the most popular run out there.
Although everyone still somehow knows about it.
I know it's a weird thing. I don't know. I think it's just I think it's just I feel like Super Mario 64 is just popular because it's entertaining to watch the attempts more so than something like Super Mario Brothers
Hmm.
where it's short. People don't necessarily want to see someone reset at the first stage 500 times. But
What? That's not fun to
but
watch?
the end
Oh.
product isn't but the end product is very very cool,
Hmm.
you know? So, I think that has a lot to do with it. And maybe it being 2D also. It's kind of it's old at this point. Uh, Mario 64 is old too, but it's 3D. A little bit more modern.
Yeah, they added a whole D in there, so.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're only in like 2010 in this timeline here.
Yeah, yeah, true.
You have a lot of history. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah. So uh so I met Miyamoto in 2010.
Oh
That was
yeah.
right. Yeah, that was right after. That was right. That was the year. That was the same year as the first GDQ, I think, technically.
Mm-mm.
I think they
Like,
both happened in 2010.
hmm.
Um,
So
I
yeah,
wonder if that had
how?
anything to do with. I wonder if that had anything to do with them finding me or realizing I was legitimate.
I was gonna
Um,
ask like
they found
how
my
did they reach out? How did this happen?
so so when I had posted my Super Mario Brothers stuff on YouTube and everything, and did the games done quick runs. I don't. It wasn't that popular though, so I'm assuming they didn't find me through there. I think they found me through YouTube. But one day I woke up to an email and this from, oh, this is from Nintendo. Why don't you sign this document? And I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, I don't think
Sure.
so.
Whatever you say,
Like,
Nintendo.
I'm pretty sure this is a scam until I like Googled the email and saw that it was actually associated with Nintendo and was like, okay, this is legitimate. Like, okay. So I signed this thing that they sent me in the email, and I ended up talking with their HR guy on the phone, and he's like, "Yeah, so we want you to come to this event. It's in New York, and it's to celebrate Super Mario Brothers' 25th anniversary, and we wanted to have you as the speedrunner there to showcase Super Mario Brothers, and you know, just play for the event." And and you know, nobody knows this, and you don't tell anyone, but Shigeru Miyamoto is gonna be there, and you're gonna get to meet him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So I couldn't like I literally signed a document that said that I couldn't tell anyone that
The classic
Shigeru Miyamoto was
NDA.
there.
They'll
Yeah,
send
it
the
was like
ninjas after you.
yeah. So I had to keep that secret, and I got to play in front of Shigeru Miyamoto. I so they had me. So when I went there, I was like VIP. I got to meet Reggie and like
Nice.
president of Nintendo. Kind of crazy. I'm just like walking around the Nintendo World store with a gigantic line outside. I'm just in there walking around looking at things. Yeah, got to meet Reggie. That was cool. Um, but they were like, at a certain point, they're like, okay, we're gonna have the speedrunner play for everyone, and they had me play, and I did like I don't know, I think I got like a 5:15 or something, in front of everyone. Everyone clapped, and I was like, great, cool, and I thought that was the end of it, and it's just like it's a smaller crowd, and um, I'm like, okay, that's what I did, whatever. And so I'm just kind of watching the show with everyone else, and like at a certain point, they're like, and now here comes Shigeru Miyamoto, and he comes out from a back door, and everyone flips out. And then they're like, "Hey, get up there! You got to speed run." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that I was still doing this. Like, I didn't know that I was gonna be like, okay, I'm speed running in front of Shigeru Miyamoto. That's insane. Okay." Like,
Mm.
I thought I was just gonna meet him. I thought I was just gonna maybe like shake his hand, and that would be it. So yeah, so I was like, I thought I was already done. So I'm like,
Mhm.
kind of just okay.
Now,
So let's do this.
I think this is news because I'm only aware of the one video that exists of him watching you, so I didn't know you had already done a full run, and it was like a good
Yeah,
run.
yeah, I'd already see, this is the thing. I had already done a run. I don't know if there's a video of it. I think my sister may have like recorded it at some, I don't know.
Hmm.
It might exist somewhere, but um
Not anywhere I've seen,
yeah,
at
I just
least.
kind of was like, I didn't realize that was like my warm-up run. I didn't they didn't tell me that. Um,
Surprise.
but yeah, so but it was kind of it was really hot. It was really hot in there. A ton of people. And they positioned me about 2 feet in front of this gigantic screen,
Hmm.
and I had to use a Wiimote. um, and I was next to Shigeru Miyamoto,
And I'm sure
and
the input lag wasn't great.
yeah, and there was a horrible input lag on an
Hmm.
HD TV, um,
You had
with
the odds
people
stacked against
screaming,
you. Yeah.
behind me, and there's no volume. So with all that said, yeah, I did really bad, but I kind of was just enjoying the moment, and I kind of didn't care, to be honest. I mean, I was certainly trying to play well, but I was more just kind of relishing the moment
Mhm.
that like I got to do this, and Shigeru Miyamoto is literally watching me play the game that he created. Uh, like, how absurd is that? And halfway through, he told me to break a leg, which is hilarious. He had a translator with him. I wish I had like known to. I didn't really say much to him. I tried to relay some stuff to him, but I didn't realize he didn't really speak much English. I
Mhm.
kind of just didn't realize that. Um, but it was good. I think he enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, even though I didn't end up completing it because of all those things.
Mhm.
Um, and it was another thing about it. I don't really talk about this aspect of it, but when the run went on, my 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 girlfriend and my siblings were there, but my girlfriend was feeling sick at that point, and so she had to like step outside at that point with my family. And
Mm.
this is like kind of unfortunate because nobody was like, they weren't there, and I felt like, I was feeling a little bit like, oh, I don't know like, what should I be doing at this point? Um, but like I had to kind of, they were like, they had to like get me I had to like, they had to get me to play, and um, it was all fine. It just was like kind of
A lot going on.
uh yeah, a lot going on, and I had this like, that's in the back of my mind, like everything. I don't know, everything's fine, and just like, oh, like now I'm alone here, like, yeah, whatever. But
Well,
it
someone
was
was there
still
to record
great.
it because that video
Yeah, it
does
was still
exist.
great. It was still good. It just was like all these different things happening, and uh, kind of wasn't really focusing in on the gameplay. Besides it just being horribly difficult to play with all the things that I mentioned. But it was a great time. One of the best days of my life. It was really cool. I was really happy to be able to have that opportunity. Um, and yeah, that was like, and that was kind of before speedrunning really took off in a way. So I'm kind of almost surprised that they did that. But Nintendo's been pretty involved with speedrunning, at least to some degree. It seems they put speedrunning in their games still. They came out with the Nintendo World
Hmm.
Championship speedrun game recently, and So it's glad that I'm glad that they do some stuff related to that. Seems like I think they appreciate it to an extent, which is cool.
I was told yesterday by a former Nintendo employee that they do watch GDQ, at least
Oh, really?
some of the staff. I don't know how
Yeah,
far
yeah,
up the corporate ladder that goes, but they're definitely aware.
yeah, yeah. And I'm like, always was worried, like, is Nintendo, because if you know how Nintendo is, I always wondered, like,
Hmm.
they're not gonna shut down games done quick, right? Like that wouldn't be good.
That would be bad. I don't think they're gonna shut down a millions of charity
Yeah, like
organization.
that's the thing.
That
I
wouldn't
mean,
be a
they
good
shut down
look.
like yeah, they shut down like melee events and such, but the game's done quick stuff's different. But
Hmm.
it's still like I wouldn't be that surprised if they did. But at this point, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they're aware of it.
Well, they eased off on YouTube because I remember you couldn't even post speedruns without like a some sort of partnership. I don't know. Whatever
Yeah,
that was.
they Nintendo's weird. They changed their stance on they I guess they were always okay with they just didn't want people to post like cutscenes basically, I think is what it came
Mm,
down to.
okay.
Um or spoil like I don't know, like story spoilers or something. I don't know. It seems like they've always been kind of okay with people posting gameplay. At least that's how their stance ended up being at the end of the day.
I
But
just remember they
yeah,
had some old thing.
it's like yeah, YouTube didn't it's like it was like YouTube didn't like video game stuff, and then Nintendo didn't like that stuff was being posted, and then they both changed their minds eventually. Kind of destroyed my channel on YouTube, but
Damn.
I was never really like a YouTuber, so I don't care that much, but it's too bad because I was making some little bit of money on that, and now I'm not.
So yeah, if you
Uh,
wonder why there's two YouTube channels linked, that's why.
yeah, my old one is basically just a historical YouTube account now.
But the history is important. So
Yes, yeah. YouTube just hates me now for some reason. I don't know why, but I don't know. It's hard because I feel like the only way to fix my channel would be like delete old videos and like re-upload them with commentary or something. Because I just don't. I think the problem with my old YouTube channel is that so many people uploaded my speedruns that they just assume that I am also uploading someone else's content.
oh yeah.
I think that's what happened, and there's no, and since it's just gameplay, there's no easy way for me to prove that this is my stuff. Oh, I think that's what happened.
Did you
I'm
get
not
hit by
really
that
entirely.
Guinness thing in like late 2019, early 2020?
Um,
Because I got
a
hit
little, I
27
think a little bit.
times.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that was weird too. Yeah, but I know that's the thing. You think that they just look at the upload dates, but I guess it doesn't matter to them. I think it's because they just use bots or whatever
Yeah, YouTube has a whole
automation
flawed
to
system. I mean, it always
yeah, and
has been.
they're not going to review it manually because I'm not some big channel. So
And
um,
plus, the absurd amount of content anyway, there's just no way to do that,
right,
no matter what.
understandably, it's just kind of a pain in the butt because if you do have an issue with YouTube, it's like there's no way to even
It's impossible
dispute
to
it.
get help. Yeah.
Yeah. What it really bugged me though about YouTube, actually, just a quick aside, what really bothered me about YouTube though is that I was like, you had the I don't know what it's called. Is it just a YouTube partner? Like you're like a YouTube partner.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when I got hit with like, oh, my videos are demonetized, it's like they're now I'm not a YouTube partner, so I can't even contact them about it. It's like, how does that make sense? Like, like, come on now. I was like a YouTube partner for like 10 years or something, and like because got hit with some one claim one time, I've never had any issues, never strikes or anything. because I got hit with like whatever the automation thing is. Like now I can't go through the YouTube partner thing to even contact them about it. It's like, does that make any sense? Anyhow, YouTube's just, it's annoying, but it's not like it was my YouTube wasn't like my full time job, so it's okay. I'm just a little bit sour about the whole thing.
I think that's valid.
Yeah,
So
and they were never. They were. I mean, them making the whole thing. Like, I don't really care that much at the end of the day because all that stuff was just speed runs, and I made money on that after the fact. I was never making those to make money. It
mhm.
was just a plus that they did make a little bit of money. Uh, just happened to. But so losing that, it's like, well, it's not like I went into it to be a full time content creator or something. So no big law, no big. It's like you win some, you lose some. Like I'm happy that it earned anything because I didn't ever intend for that. So
Bonus.
yeah, it was like, oh, it's cool. I got some money for college. There you go.
That's cool. I mean, it's nice that that kind of content can make anything at all. Like the fact that's even
Yeah,
possible is really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and the YouTube and nowadays it's unfortunate because YouTube and Nintendo are cool with it now, and yet because of the issues that I've had before, I cannot seem to. There was an there was a point at which I was able to monetize my videos again, and then they quickly got demonetized again. I don't. It's just like
Hmm.
I'm just getting automated, and so anyway, it's whatever. At the end of the day, I
Yeah, classic YouTube.
yeah
Right. So I guess so. We just trying to stick to the timeline of events here. We just finished the
yeah
Miyamoto meet and greet.
yeah yeah. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, so I guess I speedran so many games.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I try to explain to people how many games I've actually speedran and like I probably have speedran like thousands of games and yet
Oh.
if you look at my speedrun.com profile like it's I don't know, it's probably like 30 games. It's not much at all. But it's because a lot of it was not recorded. There was a point when I was like 16. I spent when I was 16 and had the Super Mario Brothers tied world record. I took a step away from it and just did a million other projects when I was like 16, 15, 16, 17. Um, and those were uh, it's like I just don't have any of that stuff. I did record it all, and now it's all lost.
Oh.
It wasn't easy to upload VHS tapes. I used to have a huge box of VHS tapes with different recordings for different games. Um, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much because it's not like anything was that special. The things that were special are the things that have been saved. Um, but I was proud of all the things that I did. It's too bad that that history is lost. But but at the end of the day, it wasn't really that special. Uh, it would have been cool to have ranks on all these different games, and I've thought about going back and doing all these things. At least just putting up a run for a lot of those different games because I can still. There's so many I could still just hop in and do a quick speed run, and if I spent a few days on it, it would be pretty dang good. Um,
That could be a fun
but
future project. Just recreate
yeah,
all the
it's a
lost
thought.
media.
Yeah, it's a thought. It's like, it's but I just did it for myself, so it doesn't really matter that much. But anyhow, no, because I always feel like when I talk about my history, I have a ton. There's like so much, and yet, I when you look at me as when you look at my profile, when you look at me, it's like Super Mario Brothers, Excite Bike. It's like that's not. It's like that's not all I've done, but 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 certainly Super Mario Bros. Is very significant. Definitely my most significant thing. Uh, yeah. So 2011, um, 2011. I think I got a sub 5 minute in Super Mario Brothers. I think at the end of the year, or was that 2010? I don't remember. Where's I got a sub 5 right after I did the Miyamoto thing? Maybe I don't. I'm drawing a blank on this on the timeline, or maybe I got the. Anyhow, within the next year, I got a sub 5. Within the next year, I got a sub 5 with some help from a guy named Weir Windle, who uh, was looking into frame rule stuff, and it just I missed some stupid little oversights with the frame rules. Just it's like
Yeah.
it's like embarrassing when I look back. I'm like, why? How did I lose all this time? Um, but it's hard when I was one of the only people looking at the game in that way. Like I'm a lot of the almost all the developments were just me coming up with things. So of course I'm gonna make mistakes, but I expect more of myself than that. It's like why did I like I didn't even realize hitting the vine in 4-2 despawned the piranha plant for a while, and I feel like the biggest idiot in the world for that.
It took you guys
Because
forever to despawn the Goomba in 8-1 too.
that's weird. The only reason we knew about that is because of some Japanese players later on that were doing that. Yeah, I mean that one I feel like is more acceptable though. Like it makes a little bit more
Yeah.
sense. But the
Yeah.
other one, I thought that I thought that the task was doing something really special to this. I thought it was either going really fast. I think that's what it was. I thought that the task was going so fast that the piranha wasn't in the way, not that they were despawning it by hitting the vine. What am I doing?
Rookie
But I came up with
mistake.
my yeah. But I came up with the 3 bump method. I came up with it kind of just like you had to wait. It took the amount of time for the piranha to go down anyway, so it kind of didn't make a difference.
Mhm.
Uh, on the first iteration of ideas of how to do 3 bump, like I came up with all these different ways to do it, and eventually kept saving more and more frame rules. But uh, I felt like an idiot because it took me so long to realize that I can just despawn this piranha plant, and that that saves a frame roll or two. Like I'm so dumb.
Oh
Oh,
well.
jumping at the top of the flagpole saves a frame roll. Wow.
Mhm.
How did I miss that? I don't know.
I mean, how would you
It's so
know?
frustrating.
So, but yeah,
It's so frustrating looking back, but because I
talking
feel
about
like such an
getting a
idiot.
sub 5, it's not just a sub 5, it's the sub 5.
Yes, the
The
first ever sub 5. I will say this. Everyone looks at that and they're like, that's the coolest run. I I am proud of that run, but I'm much more proud of the 5 minute run
Yeah.
because it was more significant. It was in my mind because it was like a huge it was like it was like this huge stepping stone in the evolution of Super Mario Brothers.
Mhm.
Um but no, the sub 5 was pretty cool too. I I feel like the run was a little bit flawed. The run was a little bit flawed, actually. I think it lost a frame roll, and some people criticized me for that. And so I decided to beat it by a frame roll. Uh, uh, a lot of people, you know what? I think about this too. A lot of people don't know that pretty much every time I held the Super Mario Brothers record, I had all the frame rolls at the time that were known. Um, I kind of always just updated my run to the fastest frame roll.
Mhm.
Um, so, uh, but it's interesting. It's interesting when flagpole glitch and stuff came about because obviously that changed the dynamic, and it's really cool to me that Nifsky's run has all the frame rules now. Um, I I honestly wanted to be the person who did that.
Mhm.
I always tried to, and I had, except that we didn't know anything. So
They kept just finding new ones. The
yes,
never ending. Although now it finally is ending, but
yeah, it's a bittersweet thing. It's very cool to have seen that happen. I just always thought I would be the person to have done it. But that is completely fine, and I still have an opportunity to maybe try to do that, match that someday, maybe.
mm,
But
mm.
that might not ever happen. That might not ever happen. That's okay too. I'm pretty happy with what I've done with everything, but there's
I know
always
I
more that I could.
personally will never do the 4-2. That sucks so much.
I mean, I don't know. Nifsky's consistent. I'll say this: Nifsky's consistency with it makes me think that it doesn't. I mean, it's probably reasonably okay, even if it's ridiculous. But but that still doesn't mean it's easy
Oh
by any
no.
means.
It what is it, like 18 frame per face or something?
Yeah, it's something insane. I I I don't get I'm a little bit too optimistic. I look at everything like I could probably do that. But
I
that
mean,
might not
it's
be
gotten you
true.
pretty far in the past, so, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I things with speedrunning things come down to there's always a trick to things at the end of the day. Even the best players they have it's still it's not that it's not hard. It's extremely hard. But there's always like a moment that the thing clicks in your head. You know, you understand how they are able to do it. And if someone else can do it, then someone else can do it too. If one
Mhm.
person can do it, then more people can do it. But uh, it's 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 obviously extremely difficult, and I don't know if I don't know if I'm up for it at this point in my life, but but maybe I don't know. But anyhow, I keep getting way off topic.
That's fine.
Uh, I don't know. So I did a lot of games done quick. 2011. I went to games done quick. 2011, 12, 13, 14. Actually, no, I think I missed 2013. I went to all the other ones though.
And
Awesome
you
games
had
done quick.
runs in all of them?
I had runs. I've had runs in every games done quick I've gone to. But nowadays it would be hard to get runs and more so than in the past.
I've been
Um,
pretty lucky with Mario 1 in the past couple of
yeah,
years.
I went to awesome games done quick from 2010 to 2017, except for I think 2013.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, the awesome games done quick 2014 was I look at that point as sort of a turning point in my speedrunning. Um, that's when it's kind of like I felt very satisfied with what I had done at that point. I was trying for a 457 2014 and I ended up getting 458 like a million times, lowering it over and over and over and over, and ended up with 458.09. And I was sad that I couldn't seem to hit the 457. I feel like I probably could have, but I had been competing against myself for so long that it just felt like why it just felt like I have the world record. I should be happy with this. I'm pretty I was very satisfied with the run. Like even though it wasn't a 457, it was exactly everything I had hoped for in a run. Like so I was just like, well, everything went exactly right. If it was only point 0.1 off what I was aiming for.
Mm-hmm.
But the run itself looks perfect basically. I mean at the time, I'm sure now it looks like a piece of crap, but but at the time watching that run back, I was like, "That's no, you can't. There's no errors. You can't really see
Hey, it had
like
old
there's
fast
nothing.
4-2s, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's like there's nothing in it. Yeah, it had two bump, right? Am
Mm-hmm.
I wrong?
No, yeah, that
Yeah,
would have been
that
two
was
bump era.
yeah, it was such a good it was such a good run for when it happened. It really was. Um, I think I had only, it's like just hoping that I get lucky and get down the pipe on the perfect pixel and get enough uh screen scroll with the bumps so that the glitch worked. It was just such a like it's just such a pain to do that. Um, but uh, doing what's done now is even way harder.
A little bit,
The
yeah.
only difference though is that the only difference though is like I don't know. I kind of like that it's skill based though,
Yeah.
and rather than it being just a crapshoot,
Hmm.
because back then it just was like I you just have to throw runs at this until it happens.
Yeah,
Uh,
we are back to 2 bumps. They're just
yeah,
consistent,
it's
but ridiculously hard now.
yeah, yes, which is better in my mind. It's better in some ways because at least you
Mhm.
know what the heck you have to do.
Yeah.
Because back then it was just like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like okay, it didn't work again. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's almost like the same difference on an exponential level now. Um, but but I mean, may as well be luck. It's like pseudo luck in a way. I don't know how to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not going to happen every time by any means. Um, but anyhow, yeah, there was a lot to that run, and I was just proud of it. It wasn't. I don't. I think by today's standard, it's not anything too special.
I think an
But
8-4 that fast is really good for the time. Like,
yeah, yeah, it was like everything went well, and I felt very satisfied. I had been working on that run, grinding it down. I mean, I was the one who held this record for, and I just was improving myself over and over and over all this time.
yeah.
Held the record from 2007 to 2014, or glitched,
That's
and
crazy.
held it in 2000. The only time I didn't hold the Super Mario Brothers any percent record was in 2016. Oh, sorry, 2006.
Mhm.
Uh, for 6 months. And from 2005 to 2014 I held it, so it's kind of nuts, but I
Couple
always just felt
years.
like I'm just competing against myself, though there were other competitors. Cosmic was up and coming. He got some really good runs, but I think I was still the only person doing 2 bump at that point. He was trying to beat me by doing a faster 8-4 and losing and doing 3 bump, I think. um and Blubber ultimately beat me by doing 3 bump and then bullet bill glitch, which he came up with a method for it, and it
Mhm.
felt kind of defeating because I felt like his run wasn't as skillful as mine, and it kind of bothered me.
I mean,
But
yeah, Bullet Bill Glitch is far easier than old 4-2.
yeah,
Old fast
I
4-2.
I don't talk about this very much too. Is that I was kind of like I was really after I got the 458.09, like I was very done. I was felt very done
Mhm.
with the game. I've been grinding it off and on for 9 years at that point. Uh, and and I held the record like pretty much the entire time, and I just was feeling done. I felt like I wanted to move on to other things and things in my life. It's like I was 24, and I feel like things get tricky in your 20s.
Do they?
Just a lot more to think about. Uh, so uh, yeah, just I don't know. I just had other stuff going on in my life, so I had to. I was kind of broke, and uh, I didn't have as much time or energy for it. Though I still did it even after that. But but anyway, at that point, like after I got that run, I was kind of done. I kept trying a little bit, and then I just was kind of like I kind of hung up the towel, and I thought nobody's gonna beat this for a long time, and that's really unfortunate because it got beaten in 6 months
Mhm.
or something like that. Maybe like 5 months or something. Uh,
I mean, it's cool that Bullet Bill
but
Glitch happened because
yeah,
I
it
know
was.
it was
I
known
mean, it
for a
was.
while, but
It's
you didn't know
all
how to do
very
it.
bittersweet. I just put in so much effort into that run just for it to get beaten by something that I felt wasn't as good because it was like it didn't even do two bump. So it's like but
Yeah. The way
um
it goes. I mean, that's what you get for
yeah,
beating it by 5 minutes with strats no one knew about, right? This is
yeah,
what you
it's
get.
unfortunate, but like how can I complain? How can I complain when I have hold the record for like 9 years?
Yeah.
Um but that week, but I don't talk about this. That week that I got beaten, I had a little bit of energy to play, and after like 3 4 days, I almost did beat it back. But
Mm.
um, I got to 8-4 with everything and lost the run. And then I said, okay, I'm done. I don't care.
When you say
I will come back
everything,
to
you
this
mean
game.
it had Old Fast and Bullet Bill, or
Yes,
oh wow.
yeah, it would have been a 457. It would have been a world record if I had completed 8-4. I had a run that could have beaten it, and I lost it. And I after that I was just like, I have too much going on. I don't feel like doing this. I will come back to it later.
Hmm.
Um, that's how I felt. And the other thing that was kind of, I don't know, kind of like it was on emulator, and emulator wasn't really
Yeah.
widely accepted by that at that point either. So I also was kind of like, well, I was still have the console record. Not that that means anything these days. That doesn't mean anything. Like
No.
thinking that was kind of stupid of me in a way, in hindsight.
I
Uh,
mean, again,
but
product of the time. Just
yeah, it was just like, well, I still have the console record. Like, you know, like it kind of it sort of means something, not really
mhm.
though. I mean, these days I don't differentiate them at all, but back then I did. Um, so so I just kind of was like, well, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'm kind of done. I burnt myself out a little bit. It wasn't, and then I didn't really start playing again until Darby and beat me on console, and then I ended up trying again. Um, but and I definitely put a lot of effort into it. Um, but unlike me, I mean, when he got, what did he get? He got a low. Did he get a low 457? Uh,
His first record would have
he got a
been
certain
just a faster 8-4 and then added 4-2 later.
when he got everything, and he got a two bump run or whatever. When he got that, I was very happy that somebody had done it,
Hmm.
and for the first time, I felt like I didn't need to be the person to do it. I was just happy that it had been done,
Hmm.
and so I kind
Was
of
it the
just
first one that would have been a dot four? I think, right? The 8-4 wasn't like perfect
um
because
I'm
yeah,
having trouble remembering. I'm kind of having trouble remembering
that's fair.
how it played out, because there were so many like there's just so many developments at the time.
Yeah, a lot
Um,
happened back then.
but
The
he did
Darbian
yeah,
era,
he
I
did,
guess.
yeah, whatever he did, forget what the heck he did. But when he did it, I was just like wow, I'm happy that someone was able to do that. Um, and for the first time, I felt like I don't need to be the one to do it. Which is like good and bad because I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, no, I've never been like that. I've always been, I'm gonna get back. But I kind of like at that point I kind of gave up. I kind of just like left it as what it is, and I think that's okay too. Uh, but it's just it's unlike me in terms of my past history. Like I don't know, I always like I get beat at something and then I go back to it and reclaim the title or whatever.
Hmm. Although
So that was
you
kind of a
did
turning
have
point for me.
you had the first two bump plus BBG on video. I'm pretty sure.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I know
Yeah. I'd
8-4 things
almost
happened,
gotten.
but
Yeah, I had almost gotten the low 457 first. Yeah,
so
was that
definitely
right?
still in contention. I'm pretty yeah. I'm like very certain you had the first. Like I don't know if the one you were talking about like a few days later is the one that's on recording, but I know there you have the first recorded like that pace to 8-4.
Yeah, I get confused about. I think that's the one that died to Bowser, if I remember right. Is that
I
right?
I I know there was one that like water was slow.
Yeah, one of them. One of them. I died to. I had two opportunities in 2015 or in 2016 to get world record back, but one of them died to Bowser and one of them lost zero point 0.9 seconds in water.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't
I
remember.
can think about the water one. I think that was the one that was. Or,
I
I
think
don't know.
that was the one because that makes sense. And I
There's
think it's
one.
that was
There's
the one that
it's
was
too slow. You know, there's a lot of things to keep track of.
yeah, and that was the 457.99.
Yeah.
It would
Was
have
that
been,
was the
but it
it's
would
too
have been
slow was 9-9, wasn't
yeah, I think
it?
so. And that would have been the world. That was the good run, right? I think. I don't
Yeah,
know. I could.
because
I'm like,
that
oh,
it's too slow. Lost a frame rule, and if it was .99, it would have been what .64 then if it had the frame rule.
it's. I had too many. I've done too many different runs that I can't remember. I can't remember. Watch the summoning salt videos and to find out.
Listen, I'm trying to remember because that video is the whole reason I'm here. Like the first one.
Yeah,
So,
that I PB'd on that one. Yeah, that
mhm.
was what the heck was that? That was
I think you're right. It being
that was the
.99.
point nine nine. Wasn't that the point nine
It's too
nine
slow
one?
.99. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Historians in chat can back me up here. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I'm confused about the timeline. All I know is that I had two different runs that could have been world record that failed right at the end, and it was disappointing. Uh,
Mhm.
but then I got Warpless world record, and that was sort of my redemption in
Mhm.
2017. Uh,
The penguin hat. Yes. Wait,
yes, that was a good run.
do I have the penguin G emote here? This is important.
The what?
Yes, let's go. I have the penguin
Oh, yeah.
G emote. Very important. You can't forget about the
Yeah,
penguin.
2000. So I took a break from any percent from I took a break from any percent in 2016, 2017. Actually, I didn't really play much then, if I remember right. Uh, I took like a full 2 year break from any percent. At which point I think that was the point at which I had made that. It was the point at which I think Darbian got whatever that good run was. I think it was a low 457.
Yeah, the good run would have been .260. And then I
Yeah,
know
I think
later
yeah,
he
that
beat it by
sounds
one
right.
frame, but he wasn't like he had already like get stopped. And this was all before FPG, of course. So yeah, it would have been
Yeah,
.260 was that good eight first good 8-4.
I think something changed. I feel like my attitude towards it changed in maybe a good way. I've always been ultra competitive, uh, where like old me would never like let that stand. Okay, I'm going to beat it back, but that was like the first time where I'm like I'm not. I think I'm okay. Like I'm satisfied with what I did. Uh, for better or worse, like I feel stupid that I'm like, why I should have kept going with it. But I'm happy that I kind of was also fine with not having the record. I think that's kind of a good thing. It's
Yeah,
like it's really at the end of the day, it's not like doesn't
gotta
really
pass the
mean
torch
anything.
sometime, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it felt like. Like okay, like
And passing the torch
I
doesn't
got
mean you
beat.
never
It's like
held it.
yeah, it's kind
Must
of,
be
but it was
wisdom
like
right
at
there.
that moment, I just felt like I got beaten, and that's okay, and I'm okay with someone else having the record at this point. Uh,
Mhm.
and I took a 2 year break, and I thought I would be really motivated to go after it again, and I just hadn't been. So I just kind of took it slow, and it hasn't really. I haven't really had a resurgence of trying like crazy again. I mean I did play in 2019 and 20 a little bit, but it
Yeah,
didn't
you got
go.
456 like really quickly.
Oh yeah, I know it's weird. I'm
And
like,
then got mid immediately
dang.
too. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I still have it in me. It is still there. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I haven't so I mean I played in 2020 I dabbled between a bunch of different games. It was kind of I feel like it's like the lost year of my speedrunning. I didn't even save anything. I was in a funk that year. A lot of people were.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think.
It was a good
um,
year for me for like
yeah,
Mario One,
for me,
but
I just was in a funk. It was I was really in a bad mood, and I couldn't get things done, and it really showed in my gameplay. Like I just didn't get anything,
mhm.
even though I tried real hard. And after that, I had a daughter, and uh, I've been very busy. So
That's
it's
fair.
been hard
Some
to.
things are more
Oh,
important.
yeah, yeah, it's been hard. I mean, I'm getting older, and uh, just had less time for speedrunning, but I did it. I speedran a lot from when I was up until I was like 25. So I think that's cool.
You've
I'm
almost
glad that I was
literally done
able
it your
to.
whole life, so
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny at this point. I am thinking. I'm thinking a lot towards 2025 now.
yeah.
I may play a lot more because I feel like I'm
Ooh,
finally at a point where maybe I can. So I don't know, but
very good.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. I'm always looking to play any of the Super Mario Brothers games. Super Mario Brothers 2.
Hmm.
I had the record in Mario 2 for a long time, and
Yeah, we've really only talked about
um,
any percent, but that's hardly scratching the surface.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I had the Mario. So like, yeah, a lot of people don't realize I had the record for Mario 2 from 2007 to 2013. Um, I've spent almost as much time on Mario 2 as I have Mario 1 in terms of just like analyzing it. Um, I've a lot of the a lot of the roots for Mario 2 are things that I came up with, and like glitches and whatnot. Um, but yeah, I mean I put a lot of focus in that one, but I never really I didn't I didn't take it as seriously as Super Mario Brothers 90% was the run that I
Hmm.
took the most serious. I did try to defend all of the titles that I've had, pretty much, but uh, at a certain point, that's just a complete losing battle because you can't you can't maintain 20 different world records between all these different popular games.
With
It's just not
their own
possible
people
these
going
days.
for him. Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be possible back in like 2007, but that quickly changed after like 2011.
But yeah, you've had Mario 1, 2J, 2U, 3, and World, like any percent world records, right? Like I'm not crazy.
Yes.
That's
Yep. Yep.
that's pretty good.
And yep. And Warpless Mario 1.
Hmm.
That was a bit. That one, I care about that one about almost as much as any percent, or just as much, really.
See, now
Um,
we're talking.
I
This is
held
the
that one the
important
same.
category.
Yes, yeah, I know somebody had the record on that. Some guy.
4 times, but who's counting? That's
Yeah, no, I
actually
spent a lot of time.
crazy. Sorry, I'm just
Yeah,
for me. The crazy thing is, I'm trying to think because when you got your 1903, I know that was 2017. I'm trying to remember when, but
um,
like
June,
June 2017.
I think. Yeah,
Okay,
June 3rd, I
it
think.
if that's true, you achieved that run before I knew what speedrunning was, before I knew what Twitch was. I There was only one world record between that and mine. And that's so weird to me.
Yeah, that is interesting. Cosmic, right?
Yes, the
Yeah,
1902.3 and then I got 1902.0. Ah, so
yeah.
close to
Wait,
the 1901.
when was your first? Was your record in 2020?
My first one would have been May 2nd, 2019, I think.
2019.
Because
Okay.
I had like this crazy rampage where I got like 1903 on like April 30th, and then 1902 on May 1st, and then world record on May 2nd. And I did all of this instead of finals. I was putting the effort where it
Yeah,
mattered.
Yeah, I did the same kind of things. Yeah,
Good times.
yeah, that's always been me. And just
Mhm.
like,
See,
uh,
m I work where my true passions lie, you know? You understand.
yeah. It's a lot of fun though. I mean, I don't know, it's cool. It's very cool, you know?
Mhm.
It's cool to have a world record, especially for why is my alarm going off? I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Uh, such a notorious game, especially.
Mhm. It's
Uh,
funny. It's weird looking back. Like, you know, there are 6 main categories now, right? Um, because there was the any percent dog. Oh, hold on. This is more important than anything.
yeah, he's I don't know why he's getting to say he's harassing me.
Forget uh, forget what I'm talking about. This is much more important. He's like
But
breaking the stream.
there he
Look at him.
is.
I love
He's
this.
a good guy.
True.
He's from Alabama. I'm during right I don't know 2021 pandemic.
Mm,
He's a good we got him without even knowing him. He's a turned out to be a great dog, so
that's
very
good.
lucky.
Oh my dog.
Oh, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Honestly, what I was gonna talk about probably was important. I even kind of forgot. So anyway,
um so
where were
no,
we?
Warpless I spent almost as much time with Warpless. I mean, I wouldn't say that quite. I would say I care as much about Warpless as I do any percent.
Based,
Um
yes, good.
so which is why I came back to it in 2017 because I felt like I need to come back. I need to regain this one. Like,
You see,
like
we didn't go over any of the Warpless history because, like, you have like a lot of that as well, well before
yeah,
2017.
yeah, that's Cosmic. Well, Cosmic beat me in 2013, I think.
Long time ago, yeah.
He beat he beat my run. He beat my run with something that wasn't all that great. It was a good run, but like then he got way better.
Much later, but yes.
uh
Because back
yeah,
then you were
he
all
got
doing
like
small only for a long
yeah,
time.
it was like my run wasn't great and like he had a pretty good run and then he got like really good. Like because I was like, oh, there's some guy, and then he's just like got extremely good at.
I mean, Cosmic didn't take Warpless record until he beat your 1903, though, which is kind of interesting.
He didn't he beat me? He had the record though. No, he did have the record.
Like he had the
Yeah.
1934 that you were talking about, but I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
sorry, I meant after that. My bad.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
clarify.
After.
Yes, yes, he did have that one on WeVC no less. I do know this. So lost 4 seconds
Sure. Oh
to.
yeah. 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 And we kind of forgot that that was even. There was like I think Mitch and him had like they were getting really good runs, and yet they didn't think they were their respective
Yeah,
games because they were both running on
yeah.
Virtual
Like
Console.
sub five shouldn't be this hard. What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, WeVC moment.
Yeah. We were like, I feel like we're all idiots all the time for everything. Like I
I mean,
didn't know that I would save it. I didn't know that I was losing frame rolls. Like I
knowledge
didn't
just
know
wasn't there
anything.
back then. Like how were you would
I
even
know
find this stuff
It's
out?
just funny. Like I don't know how we didn't notice these things. I don't know. It's just strange. But uh
It was all figured out eventually, so it's all good.
yeah, yeah, we got to the end of it and we all got way better at the games and such. But back on Warpless. Yeah, I mean I was pretty happy with my 1940 when I got it. It was a solid time. Um until I somehow until people pointed out that playing with fire was way faster and I'm like how did I not realize that because I'm an idiot I guess.
Yeah. I know Cosmic beat you small only, but then it was Hotarubi, I believe, was the next one, and that was fire.
Yeah, so I wasn't aware, I wasn't aware of the Japanese. I came across, let me think about this. I came across the Cosmic uploaded a video somewhat recent about a Japanese any percent run that was sub 5 technically,
Hmm.
that I thought was a fake run, that I had come across way back in the day. It did use turbo, so it's kind of like it was
Yeah,
its own thing
it wouldn't be
to a
allowed
different
on the
standard.
leaderboards. Yeah.
Yeah, it was his own thing to a different standard, but I thought it was not legit when it happened because he did Blaze It like in
Oh yeah.
2011 or whatever it was. Uh, so I'm just like, I don't think that's real. Whatever. Um, but um, but I don't think I knew about their warpless stuff at all until Hodarubi posted it on YouTube. At
Hmm.
which point I'm like, I can beat that. He posted that and I'm like, I will beat that. I am going to beat that absolutely. And I then beat it.
USA,
Proceeded to
USA.
beat it many times.
Yes. Yes, you kind of went on a rampage with your fire strats for.
Yeah, I don't know what I even did. I went from 19 I can't remember anymore. 19 record was like 1920,
Hoda Ruby was 1924. So,
1924.
and then you did
And
like
then
the next 10 or something until Blubbler.
I lowered it I think what to 1912? Was that right?
That sounds right, yeah. I think 1912.
I think that's right.
And I
And then
remember like all of your
Bloodlore.
runs would get hit somewhere and you'd finish it
Yeah,
out
that was
anyway.
rough. Yeah, that was rough. I was having a lot of trouble finishing out a run on that. It's a hard run to just finish out,
And
especially if you
that was
don't
before frame rule
know the frame
routing.
rules.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just gonna bring it up. All before frame rule routing, which is actually crazy.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Because it was
yeah,
Blubbler that
1903.
started doing that.
Yeah, Blubber. Yeah, Blubber went on a rampage and
Yeah.
beat my run 100 times.
Frame rule
And
routing.
oh yeah, and then it was Darbian. Darbian got it, and then I beat Darbian with my like, I'm going to get way ahead, and then just get world record by any means possible.
It's crazy how much you beat him with the like water mishap.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I did because
Yeah,
like it's
I
stupid. I'm
remember the
stupid because
reaction.
I calculated this out basically. I'm like, if I get hit, it's fine. But I still didn't believe that it happened when it actually did.
Well, you did bonk a little
Um,
bit too, but yeah, no,
yeah, that's
you just would have gotten a 1902, like a high 1902, without
mistakes are
that.
mistakes are just always so much more than you think they're going to be. Is
Oh
the
yeah,
thing with speedrunning. I always feel like, oh,
especially
that
with
won't
Mario One,
waste much
right?
time, and then I'm like, wait, it wasted 7 seconds. Like what? It's just like stupid little things. Uh, whatever it like whatever it is. Like taking a hit and then getting a mushroom. It's like, oh, I wasted 5 seconds to do that. It didn't feel like that much time. But but anyway, yeah, that was like my last, to be honest, that was like my last good run. If I'm being honest. That is the run that I would consider like my last hurrah. That was the one that I feel like I put a lot of effort into and I achieved what I wanted to achieve. And since then, there's been some stuff. I mean, I got personal bests in any percent. Um, ran some other more obscure games and kind of revisited a lot of the games that I used to be good at. But um, yeah, that was my last good world record. I mean, I did after that, like, oh, I got the world record for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, it's very stupid. Actually, very stupid, but actually kind of actually funnily competitive with the with what it is. Uh, Not that that's anything special. And like, I got the Excite Bike world record for any percent. It's like these are not, again, they're competitive. They were hard to
Not
do, but
prestigious,
it's
but
nothing.
like very impressive nonetheless, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Like among the community, everyone's like, "Wow, that's awesome," and it's like
It just doesn't get the
definitely
attention it
a
really deserves outside of
yeah,
that.
not definitely like a notable projects like for if people know what the games are, but nothing compared to like it was
Mario
such.
1.
It's probably the grind was like at least twice as long for Warpless, and obviously Super Mario Bros. Is a much more prestigious game than these other ones. Um, more notable, more important to me on a personal level too. As much as I love Excite Bike, I love Excite Bike. I really do. It's a great speed game. I wish more people are getting into it. Hello, Wolf. um, Lots of people are
I
getting
played it in
into it
Nintendo
with
World Championships a little bit.
people are getting into it with some new stuff. It's great. I'm glad that the game's evolving, uh, and it's it's just it's a fun game. It's a tricky game to learn
It's
at first. Once you
hard.
get the hang of
It's
it,
so hard
once
though.
you get the hang of it, it's not so bad.
Mm.
Um, but
I clearly have not gotten
yeah,
the
that's
hang of it.
it's been a good game. Um, just to kind of mess around with, but at the end of the day, like, have I put in the kind of effort I put into Super Mario Brothers? Like, no, not at all. Not at all. Like, as much as I've played it, I haven't gone like crazy. Like, I'm going to destroy this game. Um, I've certainly put effort into it, but it's not. It's just not the same. I think anyone that's grinded Super Mario Brothers probably understands what I'm saying. Super Mario Brothers is like an all-encompassing project. It's just like today I'm failing this stage for some reason. It's like I have to keep on top of every single little detail of this to be able to play it at a high level. Um, but and certainly Super Mario Bros. Is more competitive, so it's just kind of a requirement of the game to be just so focused in on it in order to get records. I feel like it would be hard to play any game like along with Super Mario Brothers. Like it's hard. It would be hard to do multiple projects with Super Mario Brothers being one of them. I feel like in order to get a record for Super Mario Brothers, you really have to focus in on that game. At least that's how it feels to me.
No, I get that.
So, yeah. But 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 I had some cool. I mean, the excitement thing was a cool achievement. I got the world record. I got one of the untied world records for NWC NES game. I mean, you know what I mean, talking about the Nintendo World Championships NES edition. I got one of the untied world records for Excite Bike one of the weeks. That was my goal was to do that. My goal for the game was to get an untied weekly world record, and I did that. So I'm pretty happy with
Well,
what I
this
did there.
past week I just got the Mario Master weekly world record, so
Oh yeah,
there we go.
cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
good.
haven't been keeping on top. I haven't been keeping on top of it that much after I got that. I'm just like it was. It's not like a crazy. It's not like a crazy hard goal, but it's not like an easy goal either. So just like it just fits well with what my life is right now. Like so to get that,
It's
I was like, yes, I got it.
pretty easy to boot up.
Yeah, and I think I almost got I came close to the world record on one of the Mario 2 ones, but pretty sure the world record's from the cheater guy. I think there's a cheater guy. Pretty convinced that he's a cheater. Just
Well,
one
he ain't
person,
cheating in
one singular
Mario
person.
1, so let's go.
Yeah, so I think everyone else is legit. I think there's just one cheater guy who's using macros or something, but I could be wrong. But I lost motivation to continue trying after he posted like ridiculous world records. I'm like, I don't know. He could have just been. He could have been like remapping in a clever way or something. I don't know. But anyhow,
You can
I got
remap
I got a
pretty
little bit.
interestingly.
I got a little bit annoyed with it, and I got sixth place overall. If I had actually, I probably would have gotten second if I actually kept trying for the week. But I stopped halfway through when he joined because I'm like, I think this guy's cheating, and I lost motivation for it. But it's been a fun thing that I've been doing offline. It's just easy. It's handheld. It suits my ability to play games right now. So it's been a fun little side project, and I may try the what is it even called? The Legendary Trial or
Yeah.
whatever. What's that what it's called?
Yep. Legendary
Um,
Trial. That's what I
may
sunk
try
my
that.
hands into for a
Yeah.
while.
I with Excite Bike, I think there's a potential for sub 20 on that. I don't know though. Maybe not.
Oh yeah, there is sub
You'd
20
have to do like
potential, but oh my gosh.
you'd have to do like a perfect Mario one and an Excite perfect Excite Bike basically.
You'd have to do that perfect everything.
Yeah, yeah, and everything else would have to be like pretty much flawless. So
Hmm.
uh I've had thoughts on that, especially because of Excite Bike. I think I can get like
Hmm.
I could probably get I have been looking at that one a lot. I probably could get like a 31, 32. So Wolf got a 33 recently. Is actually beat my world record.
Meanwhile, my
It should
best
be
is like a 59.
yeah, it's rough. I don't even think I think on Nintendo World I have 34 on NES, but on the NWC I only have like I think I have like a 43 or something. I haven't even come close. But yeah, Wolf got the record. It's really cool. Lots of new players. It's been fun. I'm happy that NWC popped up because there's been lots of new Excite Bike players, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future of Excite Bike is uh, with all the new people and all the new tech. There's new tech because of all the weekly challenges have have advanced Excite Bike exponentially with people coming up with things that were not really thought of. So it's cool. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that game is bringing more runners to NES games. Definitely
Yeah. I
noticed
wish it
it.
were more popular. Honestly,
Hmm.
I'm surprised it's not more.
It was
It's. I
really
mean, it's
popular
popular. It is
the
popular.
first couple of weeks, but yeah, it kind of died off quite a bit. Like I
Yeah.
did get the world record for the Mario 180% for the past week. It was there, but it wasn't very competitive. The top 10 was
Yeah.
all
I mean,
Japanese runners except me because no one
yeah.
around me was playing it.
I didn't even put up anything great. Like surprisingly, I don't know. I didn't have time that week. But I I thought to try. I don't think I would have beaten you or Nebula.
I didn't. Well, yeah, that first week that was actually crazy competitive. Like
Yeah. That was yeah. It was definitely competitive, but it's
this
also.
past
I
week,
mean,
no, it was very easy.
I didn't even know it was there. This I
Yeah,
haven't been
right.
paying attention. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of died off. I mean, it's kind of when even I'm not doing it, you know that it's kind of died off a little bit.
Yeah,
But
that's what to
but
expect.
still competitive. I mean, there's still very good players playing, and it's still certainly very competitive. It's just a
Yeah.
lot less people.
Hmm. Yeah,
But,
no,
yeah,
the
but that's been a fun game.
no, it's a great game. Definitely took over my life for a few months.
Yeah, yeah, same. Yeah, I really got into it, and it's been fun trying to root out the new tactics for the specific, challenges. So
Yep, it's been a fun time.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so
Oh,
I guess we should try to cover all of the Mario 1 bases because went over any percent in Warpless, I guess, fully, but there are other categories. You know, one was just recently talked
yeah.
about quite a bit, and you're definitely a part of that.
Minus World.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That one, it's weird because it came along later in my history of Super Mario Brothers. Like uh, I feel like I don't treat it the same way everyone else necessarily does. It's more like an extension category in my head. So obviously it's a
I mean,
main
it is
category.
miscellaneous, so
Yeah, no, but I mean like I view it as like on
yeah.
on like the Super Mario Brothers extension categories page, like that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
rather than
I
it,
get it.
But I mean, I love that stuff. I dabble in the extension categories, though I haven't really submitted for any much of it,
Hmm.
but fun to try a little bit on those. Uh, but no, Minus World. Yeah, Minus World. Minus World's a really cool category. I just wanted to get world record in it when I was going for it. That was my goal. I kind of did the same with Warpless. Like I feel like it's atypical. It's not normal for me. It's not. I'm usually more of a perfectionist with this kind of stuff. Uh, but I think in more recent years, even though 2017 was 7 years ago, I say in more recent years. But that is for me. It's like that's just kind of recent. Uh, it's in terms of my entire Mario career. Um, but like I feel like uh I didn't really reach my potential with Warpless or Minus World at all, or any percent even at this point. I feel like I probably should have had a 455 at this point. Um, but uh, I don't. I My goals have changed a little bit. I guess my motivation, my goals with these games have changed. I was happy to get Warpless world record in 2017. Happy to get Minus World ending record in maybe also 2017. I did a lot in 2017. I got all the records for 2017 except for uh, Warpless, All Stars, and any percent. I was on a groove at one point, kind of making a little bit of a comeback, but never fully happened. I almost got any percent back. It's like I could have had the sweep again in 2017. I've never had this sweep, except that I always considered the sweep as any percent in Warpless. So that was the sweep for a while. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever get. I don't think I'll ever get the world record for All Stars Warpless. I don't at this point. Probably.
Ha-
I will probably never have
Is
that
that the
record.
only main category you've never held? I thought you had it
Yeah,
once.
I've
Okay.
never held it except. No, I haven't. No, I was gonna say maybe back in the day, but
Because
no,
you've had
not
any
even
percent
then.
All Stars. I know that.
Yes, I did. I did get that one.
Because you did.
That was another. I just want to get world record. It's not really super
Mhm.
optimized. It's just
Well,
I can
you
get world record.
got rid of Fire. You did like one of the first small only records, which is
Yeah,
pretty hard to do just in general.
yeah. I just started to try and like come up with. I like coming up with new ideas. That's just what I do. So
Mhm.
that's that's just like uh it's just bound to happen that way with that stuff.
You
Uh,
know, we've
and now
both had
everything's pretty much figured out.
yeah, we both had 5 out of 6 main category world records. Just the one I'm missing is any percent. Little late for that.
Oh, yeah, you
Oh
can still
well.
get there. You're close. You are close.
I'm not doing Lightning Core 2. I'm not putting myself through that hell.
Yeah, I feel like Cosmic has the same attitude, and I feel like I feel like both. I don't know. I feel like everyone has potential to do these things. Especially, I mean, if you had a low
It's more
455.
it's less like having the potential, more like wanting to do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I completely get it.
If I when I get 454.7, I'm out. Bye. We had a
Yeah,
good
I
run.
get it. Yeah, I mean, Cosmic said he's done, and I understand that. Darby, and I'm sure is done. I don't think he's gonna come back to that. Um,
He's always
Me,
said he
I'm
wanted
kind
to
of.
take another frame roll off, but I
Well,
just don't know
yeah,
what
I
he's
talked
doing
to no,
anymore.
I talked to Darby in a long. I mean, I don't know, 2018 or something. I asked him about maybe was it 2000, I don't know, maybe 2018. I was asking him about if he's gonna do any percent again, and he's like, I just don't want to do 1-2. Gee, and I'm like,
Yeah, well, he
that's
doesn't
like,
have to. He doesn't have 4-2 because yeah, he did the old 8-3 setup,
okay, yeah,
which is
true,
now
yeah,
easier too.
yeah. But I always just felt like, well, if he's not willing to do that, like, I get it. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
if he's he doesn't like to do one frame jumps or something. I don't know, or maybe
Yeah.
it has something to do with his wrist or whatever. But yeah, but it just didn't sound like it didn't sound like he had any interest past 1-2G, and for Cosmic, I think he doesn't have any interest past. Uh, he doesn't have any interest past Blaze It. He doesn't want to do Lightning. I mean,
Mm.
most people I think are in the same boat there.
Yeah.
Where pretty much everyone can do everything
It's
except
just
that, or they can do Lightning, but it's just hard on the hands and very frustrating, and etc.
mhm.
Difficult. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see. I guess I don't see Darbian coming back, but I guess we'll see. I,
Well,
I don't know what
we
he's
haven't
up to.
heard from him in years at
Yeah,
this point.
I haven't heard from him in years now. Actually, it's
He'll
interesting,
like make a
surprising, but
message occasionally in a random Discord every so often, but that's like all you get.
yeah, I haven't seen anything from him in at least a year, maybe two at this point. I think I had messaged him and he didn't get back to me, and I just
Mm.
figure he's busy. I mean, I don't take offense to that. I think he's probably just trying to distance himself from all of it for whatever reason. Uh,
Fair enough.
just,
I mean, I'm not
yeah,
gonna
who
assume
knows?
anything, so
Yeah, who knows? I hope he's doing well. I mean, that's all I hope. I hope he's doing fine. I'm assuming he is. Uh,
I just hope he comes back
uh,
for the sole purpose of I need to do an episode. Like, I mean, I've done
I would love,
everyone.
yeah, true. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'd love to see him come back to speedrunning, but I don't really expect it
Yeah,
um,
no, I'm not.
at this point. But we'll see. And uh, for me, I'm kind of weird. I'm like, I'm never gonna say I'm done with anything. I'm always open to doing more attempts, trying again. Probably 2025. I probably will be playing Super Mario Brothers. Honestly, even it's been. I feel like it's been long enough. It's been a
We
long
all
time.
welcome the return. We're
I mean, I
eager.
was there at Pace. I was
You
there at
were
Pace.
true.
I
Oh yeah,
was like
we
the
didn't even
first time I
talk
played
about
Super Mario
that.
Brothers.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I
let's
went to Pace.
let's talk about that. So that was your first time playing. First of all, first time playing competitively, like other than like a GDQ race, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That was the first. That was the first ever speedrun tournament I've ever done.
mhm.
So
And
there's not that many of them. Oh, they're more well. I mean, there's online ones.
yeah,
There definitely are, but
mhm.
they're not super mainstream. So,
Yeah. I'm
but
curious
yeah,
since you know you probably have the longest history with Mario 1 speedrunning that's currently active. What was it like seeing that technology and everything?
yeah, that was really cool. I'm like, it's kind of amazing to me that there's a Super Mario Brothers tournament now. Like, it's cool that that's a legit thing now. I I always felt like there should have been one forever ago. Uh, but at the same time, I didn't know if there really weren't enough runners in a way. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. I always felt like people always kind of look at the old records like of course I don't know. I always feel like people are like, well, of course you had the record. You were the only one playing, and it's like to an extent that's I kind of get that, except that like Scott Kessler is like a monster gamer. Uh, as few players as there were, like I mean,
They
there's
were good.
still really good players. There's still very good players to compete against back then. Um, but but certainly the scene was like way smaller. It wasn't, there's only a handful of people who had under 5 minutes at like 10 years ago. Um, but no, I'm happy that there are so many high level runners now. I mean, there's a lot of people now. Um, certainly enough to have tournaments,
Mhm.
and I like how it's crazy how close the competition is. It's
Hmm.
like, dang. Uh, uh, I feel like it's funny because I think back to when I was doing 458s. I was just like busting them out like crazy. It's just like no big deal almost to just do like 458s. Easy, easy, easy. Uh, which is not, again, it's not, it really isn't that big of a deal to do a 458. Back then it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now it's not. But I'm just saying that, what I'm saying is that as far as consistency goes, I look around and I feel like when I was at my best, I was at that, like I see that consistency that I had with a lot of players now. It's very impressive to me because I was not very good at the tournament. um,
It had been a
but
while. I mean, it's fine.
yeah, I mean, I hadn't really been practicing, honestly, and I was tired. But uh, certainly, I tried, and it was cool to see how good everyone had gotten overall. You know, I felt like I don't even know. And part of me, I liked competing. Part of me wished I just spectated. I don't know why. I like to compete, but I also was I enjoyed watching more than I liked playing, sort of, for some reason.
I mean, it is just like a fascinating spectacle having it all on that one screen with the like live updating
Yeah,
the
it's neat.
timer and
It's really
replays
yeah.
and what
Flippity
the heck.
dibbity. Flippity dibbity is awesome. That's
Yes.
such cool stuff. I really wanted to. I haven't really found the time. I wanted to help out more where if I could with any of that stuff,
Hmm.
anything. But I think he's got it under control mostly, and there's a lot of people volunteering and
Yeah.
helping with all that stuff, so I don't feel too bad. Uh,
If it ever becomes like a
but I
big
was like, I
organization or
wanted to,
something, I'd
I
love to
just
help
wanted to
out.
succeed.
Oh
I wanted
yes,
to
so much.
succeed. That's all.
Do you know it got
So
into
um,
GDQ here in a week?
yeah, I kind of I keep forgetting the games. I forgot the games done quick was even next week. I'm
Hmm.
just so out of the loop with speedrunning. Like
In fact,
I
I
just have a
think
lot
the
going
tournament is like in exactly 1 week from today, as of
on.
recording.
Okay.
This will be on YouTube well after that has happened, but
I mean, it's weird. I mean, I'm still around. I'm just not involved in the stuff like I used to be at all. Uh, just a lot going on. So, but I'd like that to change. I'm glad that I was able to go to Pace though, and I went to another NES event, NES Fest,
mhm.
which is a smaller event. But cool to do some speedrun stuff again after having not gone for forever. Um, and certainly really fun to meet you and meet everyone else. Like just cool to see the scene flourishing still, even without me. 'Cause I felt like the scene was just me for a little while at
I
certain
mean,
times.
for a little while it was for the most part,
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
mid to late 2000s, early 2010s,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. Yeah. There were people. I always think there were definitely people. There was always high level runners who took interest for a period of time and got pretty good times, but it never ended up committing to it in the way that they needed to get world record, where they probably could have beaten me. Cipher, most people don't know
Really?
that he runs Mega Man 2 and he has
Hmm.
the world records. But he was a real competitor for Super Mario Brothers in like 2012. Um, Another guy, Tiki, who is a Mega Man X world record holder. It's like just all these people come along and they have these like ridiculously good times. You know, able to compete at that level, but just never ended up putting in that effort to do it. I
Hmm.
guess just ended up drifting away from it for one reason or another. Um, I always feel like there have always been competitors, even though um, I was like mainly doing it by myself. There's always like certain people to compare with or talk to about strategy and stuff. So it's been enjoyable for that reason. And now I I feel kind of sad that I missed out on a lot of the discovery for Super Mario Brothers in 2021 and forward, basically, or around that whatever that time was, 2020
Yeah.
and forward. Um, all those developments I feel like are just as crazy as the things that I found, and they don't necessarily get as much attention. Um,
It
just
does get
like
a bit
lightning.
complex. So
Yeah, it's like they're smaller optimizations, but like still crazy that they were found, and it's weird. I feel so weird that I wasn't involved with it in some way. I'm like, wow, how did that happen? But yeah, like lightning and then lightning and then all the improvements of optimization with lightning and everything. I don't know. Like, didn't you and you found like weren't you the one who found the flag skip animation
yeah,
and was
the
that lot?
lost levels by complete accident. Yep,
Yes.
yep. Whoops.
Yeah,
My
that
bad.
yeah, it's like all these different little things. I'm like, oh geez. I'm like, how did I never find these and how did
Well,
it's
that one,
like
I don't know how anyone never found it. I found it on accident. I wasn't trying to do that. It just happened. And it's
yeah,
like, oh, this is like
yeah.
a free, literally free time save that anyone can do. Whoops. Okay.
Yeah, things have really evolved. It's funny. Like I remember Blubber, like I talked to Blubber at length about like saving a frame rule in 8.2, doing TAS 8.2,
Hmm.
and just his like no, it's not possible. Just like flat out like no. And I'm like, well, like I don't know. And it's like, oh now it's a thing. Like, okay. Interesting how that happens.
Hmm.
uh But it's been cool to see the game evolve, and it's been weird to not be the person doing it or involved with it whatsoever. And even the time saves, it's like I'm not doing it. That's weird.
The community's so
I'm not
large
even a
now.
top player anymore.
Well,
But
times are still pretty good. Just
yeah,
a
they're
lot of
not
people
bad.
are also good now. I mean, it doesn't
Yes,
take away from
yes.
the difficulty
I'm
it is.
definitely not a bad player. I think anyone who I always viewed things as like anyone who can beat me is pretty dang good. Say
Yes.
that. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta be
not people
pretty
are
good.
getting worse, it's that a lot of more people are getting good. That's what it is.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I everything in context too. I mean, it's like I
Mhm.
haven't gotten a new personal best in 5 years either. So a lot has changed since then. Uh, but and certainly I've already made a name for myself. I don't I don't think that
I'd say.
I I'm definitely not a bad player by any means.
I don't think anyone's
Uh,
saying that.
yeah,
Unless they're a
but
YouTube comment from 2008 that thinks you're cheating.
yes, yeah.
But if anything, that's a compliment.
Yeah, yeah, that's just normal.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, no, it's been cool seeing you and Nifsky and Cosmic, all the people, all the record holders, especially. It's like cool to see people. I don't know. It's cool to see new people stepping up. Uh, Anyland,
There's a lot of
Haven Web,
names. Yeah.
yeah. Like who else? Uh,
There's a lot of
Nebula.
people.
Well, the Nebula. No, Nebula. I don't know. I don't know who did what. People who can get 454 are insane. That's
Yes,
I'll just
yes.
say that.
What is that like?
Regardless of whether they have the world record or not. Getting a 454 is just bonkers and
I think
so much
what
respect to
7
anyone
people have done
who's
that
done that.
now?
Is it 6?
It's 6 or 7. I'm pretty sure it's 7 now
A
though.
Verge, a
Let's
Verge,
see. This game, Alien,
Nebula.
Verge, Nebula, uh, Jace Carbo, Johnny Boy. We're getting someone. Pretty sure it's 7.
It's good.
Oh, Tree. Yeah, there's 7. Okay.
Wait, 7?
There's 7 and I named them all. I did it. Let's go.
Yeah. 7 as of like last week or something.
Yeah.
Kind of nuts. People keep talking about him getting oh, here, Verge getting world record maybe.
I feel like Nifsky's
Don't
getting
know.
world record today. or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching a little bit. I've been watching a little bit. Pesky.
He's been kind of
He's
popping off.
absurd.
Yeah,
He's really absurd.
he's pretty good at
Uh,
the game.
yeah.
That man
I
ruined
still
my career. I
just
actually
get the
wonder.
record back. Come
No,
on.
I
Let's do it.
sometimes I think like, what would my like speedrunning career been if he just didn't show up and dominate everything? Because I'm bad at like talking highly of myself because I feel cringe about it, but I almost feel like I could have been the best Mario 1 player at one point. Just because there was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
I have had 5 out of 6 records, like, you know.
You yeah, you were I mean you were early. You were pretty early into the scene in terms of the more modern players.
Kind of.
Uh
It's weird in my
I don't
mind.
know. I'd
I
say
felt pretty new to everything, but I guess in today's standpoint, yeah, I'm old as heck now. Rip.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like you've been around now it's like yeah, you've been around for a while.
But I can't even say that
I don't
talking to you. It's
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've been around a while compared to a lot of people though. I don't know like
I
I wasn't
guess.
even like around at all when Mini Lind was playing like at all, basically.
Well, he's been around like as long as me. He just didn't take it as seriously until a little later, like a few years,
Yeah,
I
that
think.
the last few years I haven't really like I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird for me not to have kept up with stuff so intently because I at any point before like 2018 like I was way on top of this stuff. Uh, I mean,
I
getting
mean,
back into it
it's
more
hard to keep
again.
track of everything. So much has happened
Yeah,
now.
it is. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I don't even know the strat. Like I don't even literally don't even know the strategies. Some of the basic stuff now, um, which is really weird.
Just
But
soon you
I just
will.
haven't had
You
a
just
I don't have the desire to really do it either though. So it's not just it's
you
just
definitely need the
what
drive
it is.
for it.
Yeah.
The game requires your full attention.
Right. Right. But yeah, so anyway, no, Pace was a lot of fun. Happy to meet everyone. Come here, you. What are you doing? Why are you being like this?
Dog back.
He,
Let's
he wants
go.
he's like oh he probably wants food. That's probably what's happening right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was fun to meet everyone at Pace and I'm glad that there's Mario competitions now. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hopefully the game's done quick. I think the game's done quick thing will go well. I'm now going to make sure that I watch that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forgot that that was a thing. Um, maybe
Yeah.
I'll come to Pace the next one. We'll see.
Yeah. There should be
I'd like
one
to
at
be
pace.
yeah. I'd like to be more involved again. I'd like to get him. I'd like to get a. I would like to get a Mario PB at some point again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe maybe next year. Maybe
That'd be good. And yeah,
a lot
hopefully,
of
yeah, Tuesday at 4:30. I think no Eastern. Yeah. Okay. So like exactly a week from right now on stream. Again, the YouTube video will be uploaded after GDQ is over, so won't make sense. But time is a weird thing. Got to do these in advance.
yeah
I can't record
yeah
an episode while I'm on a plane. That's how it is.
right.
But yeah, Pay should have another Mario one thing. I'm hoping this GDQ gets a lot of eyes on the technology and it just becomes
Yeah,
this.
I wonder if it'll be adapted to other things at some point.
I know
Sounds
he
like it
wants it to
can
be
be.
for sure. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously 2J would be the easiest thing to do coming off
It
of
sounded like
SMB
he can
one.
do it for anything that's NES,
But
didn't it?
yeah,
It
like
sounded like because I
and
was
like
thinking about
other
like Ninja Gaiden, that'd be awesome. Like
Ninja Gaiden. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Retro Runner and Arcus, that would be cool,
Ninja Gaiden, Mega
etc.
Man, any like platformer that has a competitive speedrun scene.
Yeah,
Mario
I think
3.
I I hope that Yeah, I hope in the future. I mean, some people are kind of anti-tournament as far as speedrunning
I
goes. I feel like a
I
lot of
get
people
it.
are
Um,
indifferent or don't care or actually against it for no whatever reason. But I am a very competitive person. It's not like not like toxic competitive, but like
yeah.
it's fun to compete. I think
Mhm.
you get that. Like
Yeah, no, I get it.
I feel like a lot of people don't, where it's like, oh, well, competition is not good. It's
Mhm.
like, no, it's fun. It's like a
Competition helps
nice
drive
cool
times
thing to do.
down and pushes you
I mean,
to
it's
do
not like,
better.
yeah, but I hope the more tournaments show up, but it just doesn't seem like I don't know if there's really the interest or not. That's the
Yeah,
only
it's
thing.
hard. Um, I guess we'll see, but yeah, I'm glad Pace exists
Yeah,
and is doing that thing. So,
yeah, I'm very happy that that's like a thing. That's cool.
mhm.
Um, I hope that like, I mean, Mario 64 stuff does pretty well, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, that's
things
the
will
one
just
thing I
continue
wish
to
there was a little bit more
grow.
variety, just in general. But like,
Yeah,
I
it's
also
hard.
get it.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. Speedrunning is hard because literally people speedrun everything.
Hmm.
So it's like,
And it's so big
you
now
know,
and so mainstream that you can literally do anything.
right. It's like, like you're gonna, there's people who really care about like Spyro or something, or
Hmm.
there's really people who care about anything, this or that, but you're not necessarily going to see all of those games in a tournament setting because,
Hmm.
like they kind of have to be somewhat popular for people to like follow it.
Yeah,
So, and Mario 64 is really one of the only ones that is big enough that that works in a way. At least that's the way I see it. The only thing I always thought that there should be like, I don't know if you know about do you know Best of NES, the Big
yes,
20? Do you know
yeah.
that Big 20 race? I always felt like that format is pretty good,
Yeah.
where you could have some more obscure games. It'd just be like a collection of games to play for a tournament.
Hmm.
Um, but like also have some popular games in there too that people are going to be interested in. Um, I always felt like that format would win at the end of the day for like tournaments, but what?
Yeah.
Um,
Legendary
but we'll
Trial is
see.
kind of like that on Nintendo World Championship.
Yeah, it is like that. Yeah, it's actually just like that. You
That is
know?
also in GDQ. I'm just gonna keep promoting, even though
Oh, is
on
it?
YouTube it'll already have happened. Oh well. That's why you watch these live people. No. The promotion. Yeah.
I heard. It looked like there were some Japanese events with it, even. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
RT in Japan just had a legendary trial race as one of their
Yeah,
runs.
that seemed pretty cool.
No, yeah, it was a really good race too.
There's some really good runners playing uh NWC too, just like
Yeah,
in general.
again, um got the record for Mario Master this week. Let's go. But like all the other names are Japanese almost.
Yeah,
And it was all ones I could recognize. Like I'll probably mispronounce some of these, but like Narupa, you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
I know who
LK,
you're talking about.
Ohan.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I saw all their names in the top 10.
That guy MW, I don't know who that is exactly, but they
Oh,
have
yeah,
the
he did Super Mario Hour at
yeah,
RTA Japan just
he's
now
like
too.
I'm like jealous of the things they're doing. I'm like I
Yeah,
want to do
he's
that.
kind of crazy at everything.
Yeah, it's
He's the
I'm
you
like
of
that's
modern
like
day.
yeah, I have a lot of that. I have a lot of experience in all those games, but I'm like I'm not at that level. At least unless I tried, maybe I could be, but no, it's just impressive that what he's doing is the point.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know where he came from, but holy.
Yeah, I mean he's got a low 455 too, right? I think.
Does he now?
No, I think he
Maybe.
does.
I've lost
Or
track
maybe it's a
at this
mid.
point.
Mid? I don't know. Sorry, my dog.
There's yeah,
He's
455
harassing
something
me.
or other.
Sorry. I think he wants food soon, but
Mm.
um uh yeah.
Um, trying to think what else to cover because there's still so much probably. And I don't want to make this last forever or anything, but I,
Yeah.
we we did touch on like
I almost want to
GDQ.
talk about
Oh, what's
I
up?
almost want to talk about tax, but
You cut out.
I almost want to talk about tassing a little
Oh,
bit, but
tassing. Yeah. Oh, please. Yes.
yeah. Uh no, tassing is
Oh, and I got
I have a lot of
okay.
fun with that stuff. I never got involved in it to the extent that I probably would have liked to.
Hmm.
Uh, but like one of the that's like I like coming up with things almost as much as I do speedrunning itself. So um, tassing is right up my alley. I did a bunch of tasks. A lot of people don't know that.
I mean, you
I
still
did a
have
really
like
cool.
an all stages or something. Mario 2. I know you've done a lot of work with Mario 2 tassing.
Yeah, yeah. Both. Yeah, I technically have the fastest pass of any percent and warpless for Mario 2.
Hmm.
Um, Still, but even though there's new strategies though now, so it's like it is obsolete, especially warpless. But nobody has actually made it yet. It's very hard. It's a hard task to make the way that it is.
Mario
It's
2 is a
like
hard game, just in
up
general.
speed, carryover in between levels, and it affects things a lot. And it's like I tasked with another guy who knew more about this stuff, so uh, I was kind of like I was very much the ideas guy during the tasks for that stuff, but he also came up with a lot of really good ideas. But he was just like a really good tasser besides. Um, but we made it into a competition kind of. Like he would post something and then I would post an improvement to it, and then he would post an improvement that I would, and then he'd make something that I couldn't couldn't beat because he knows how to task better than I do. Uh, but tassing was fun, and I think it has a lot of applications now. I feel like I feel like Super Mario Brothers wouldn't have had the improvements that it had without tassing availability.
Hmm.
Uh, and I feel like that's why I probably didn't find a lot of that stuff. It's just like there's certain things that you just can't figure out like by playing a game. Um, like you're not gonna know uh like oh for the subpixels in Super Mario Brothers or whatever.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like tassing was kind of crucial to figuring out 8-1 passing what are you talking flagpole glitch, I mean,
Hmm.
etc.
Yeah. Apparently, tasking is
But
really helpful for like RTA runs too to kind of understand the intricate details of how everything works, and it helps for
yeah,
consistency.
I feel like most game it's weird to me because I feel like Super Mario Bros is one of the only games that has been taken to that level. Um, and I feel like so many games are probably way improvable, like especially for NES,
Mm-hmm.
that people just don't realize it. Um, um, I I felt that way about Super Mario World also until the top runner of Super Mario World came along. I felt like there was so much more potential for Super Mario World, and now the top player has like done all the things that I expected the
Mm-hmm.
game to be. Because I compare it to Super Mario Brothers, and I'm just like, why do people deem these things too hard? Like Super Mario, like we can do so much with Super Mario Brothers. Why can't we do those kind of things with other games? And not many games have been taken to that level. I just feel like Super Mario World has just started to like stumble onto things that I always felt like were probably doable, but nobody did, and
Mhm.
now people are finally doing them. So
Yeah, that game is
it's cool to see
crazy.
the tassing actually helping RTA runs
Mhm.
in conjunction with it. 'Cause it used to be kind of more separate. They used to be kind of separate entities.
Mhm. You do see a lot more overlap nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, and like even like Mario 64, like
Mm.
the harpless thing, I don't think it would have been solved without a tasser, if I
Mhm.
remember right.
Yeah.
And I think there were a few things like that. It's just like, it's like, how did people never figure these things out? But it's because you need to have passing knowledge to solve some of
Tasking
these
knowledge,
things.
game knowledge,
Yeah, it's
a
like you have to
lot of
know
crazy knowledge.
it's everything. Yeah, it's you got to know you got to you got to have the tasking knowledge and then know how to apply that and
Mhm.
have a clever idea at the same time. It's like it's a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, there's
But
something I completely forgot to bring up now. Is this all the tasking talk? Feel good about that. Okay, because running with speed documentary, completely forgot about that.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that was really cool. I think they did a good job with it. Though I don't know. I think it not being, I think it not being free from the get go, like people probably were like, I'm not gonna watch that yet. Maybe and now it is. But uh, yeah, I don't know. It didn't. I think it did all right. I don't know what people thought of it really. I enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm biased.
Hmm.
Um,
I think overall it was
I thought it
good.
was I thought it was pretty well. I thought it was pretty well made, but didn't get the popularity that they were expecting.
Mhm. Yeah, there were some moments that were kind of long, but
Yeah, it was a little bit.
and they cut a lot of content. I feel like they shouldn't have cut, but
It's hard to
yeah.
critique it. I think it's just the problem is just again that the speedrunning community is so big that it's hard to focus in on like they probably should have focused in on less people or certain games specifically like or just like one game even because it's like there's just so much that it's hard
Yeah.
to because they're trying to cover all the people and like all these people are definitely important to speedrunning but like it's um I don't know. It's just it's speedrunning is difficult in that way.
Hmm.
All the communities are kind of split. We're not one cohesive community except for games done quick, basically.
Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, I think it was good. I think it was good. Um, I like being involved with it. I'm happy that I was worthy of being involved in it.
You were a
uh,
prominent feature.
and then nice to. It's cool to be like the It's cool to be like the grandfather of speedrunning somehow. I don't know if I really deserve that, but uh I feel like I don't know if I really deserve that honor. There's a lot of people that were around speedrunning when I did and even before I did, um but I also was very involved with it, so I've just been around too. I mean, most people kind of disappeared or a lot of people did, but um I'm happy that I've made the contributions I have anyhow.
Okay. I will say, on that point, so I've had I've done 100 episodes now. A lot of people.
All right.
Um,
All right.
and I always ask like what I asked with you at the start, like how'd you get started? A lot of people, especially people that started like in early 2010s, a lot of them said you were the reason.
Yeah, it's
So,
weird. It's weird. It feels very weird to me. I'm like,
like
I'm
a
honored, honestly.
shocking
It's like
number of
it's
people have
cool.
said
It's
that.
very cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm very I think the thing with me is I'm very like open. I like to talk to the new players and encourage people and I have a lot of fun with it and it's like I want people to see their potentials because they don't necessarily see it. Uh, but I don't know. I like to help people get good and involved and everything. So um, maybe that's why I'm very hospitable. I don't know what the word is. I don't know what it is. But I try to make people feel welcome and like part of the community. You know.
Mhm. And I mean, your early Mario 1 runs were some of the first things to go viral in the scene,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
definitely helps.
Right. Right.
So, but yeah, if there was a Mount Rushmore, I think we'd see AndrewG, Stoneface. So,
Yeah.
I
Friendly.
think most people would say that's worthy. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my
The Super
take.
Mario Brothers is definitely a prominent game, so I think having the record in that for sure helped with people being exposed to speedrunning. I always like it's hard for me to like gauge because I mean I think people like Siglemic were probably like the most significant Siglemic and Narcissa and whatnot.
Hmm.
Uh, but it's like but then it's like Super Mario Bros. Is all over the map, all over the place. Very hot thing for a very long time. Uh, so I always think, but I'm not like a superstar. I'm just Andrew G.
Yeah, but
Um,
you're the AndrewG.
right, and maybe I don't give myself enough credit. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm like nobody. I mean, but it's like it's kind of true. It's kind of not. I like what I am though. I don't. I kind of like that I am. I always liked that my streams were composed of basically speedrunners. It's like I have like 100 people watching me, and like all of them were like speedrunners, and that always felt better to me than like if I had tens of thousands of viewers because it's like the people who care about this stuff is actually watching me rather than like people who don't know anything, you know. And it's like all my friends too, so it's it's nice to be like, oh yeah, these are all my friends from speedrunning watching me. That's cool.
Yep. Community is definitely the best part. So,
Yeah, it's like it's nice to like you go to someone's channel and then they come to yours and it's like
hmm.
you form that friendship. I've made so many friends with speedrunning.
Hmm.
It's been a lot about that more than more than being popular or whatever too.
Yep. I definitely. It's weird because like in if you think of like all if you think of a Mario 1 like legend, I don't think I get brought up, which is fine. But I feel like so popular in the community just because I like talk to everyone and go to so many GDQs and stuff, and I'm just
Yeah.
so I feel popular in the community that is important to me, not just but not popular in like the general thing. And I think I don't know. That means more.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no,
I'm trying to agree with you here. I don't know if I'm getting that point
yes, no,
across
I
very
know.
well, but
I get what you're saying, and you're not offending me or something. Don't worry. I am like unoffendable to be honest. Almost.
definitely not
Um
trying to do that.
but no, I feel the same way. I mean, I think you are definitely one of the we're like I feel like I feel like anyone who's held the world record in Super Mario Brothers game is like known too. And I think even more so if they're involved in the community. Um, but like everyone has a lot of respect for that. So yeah,
We try our best out here.
yeah. Oh.
But yeah, I guess speaking to that, I know we talked a bit about GDQ, but we didn't really go too into detail about all the stuff you ran at the events. I know it's mostly like Mario 1, but
Um, yeah. So I ran Super Mario World. I ran Super Mario World like 3 or 4 years or something, and I don't.
really,
People don't even realize I did that. Uh,
I didn't know that, so there you go.
um, yeah, I did like I think I did it up and I did like 2011, 12, 13, 15, I think.
Yeah, I just know they kept accepting Mario 1 and
Yeah, I did, and
some
I
of the
always
other
did Mario
Marios.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super Mario
Sometimes
World.
with your eyes closed or with a giant hat covering your eye.
Yeah. I
The classic.
showcased I showcased the orb glitch for Super Mario World
Oh,
when it
really?
came
Okay.
out.
That's cool.
Yeah. Um when I I did a run and I crashed the game the first try
Nice.
and then I did orb and I did a really good run after that. Like right after. That was like it was one of my most solid runs I've ever done at a GDQ.
Really? All right.
Uh yeah, I think it was like it was something like I don't know. I think it was like an 11-minute run or something. But like if you include the crash, then it was 12:20 or
Ah,
something
it
like that.
doesn't
But
count. It's fine.
yeah, it was kind of like, well, no, but it was like, uh, whatever. I don't remember exactly how it went. I just know that it went really well. I was like very happy with that run. Uh, got to show off the orb glitch. Everyone was like freaking out about that. That was cool.
I mean that's a big piece of that game's history right there. So there you
Yeah,
go.
it's like it was like the week after it was discovered, so I had to like
Wow.
really focus on learning it properly to try and make sure that I could do it. And like half the room knew what it was, and half the room didn't. So it's like everyone's
Perfect.
oh, I was gonna do the thing. Uh, that was cool. Yeah, I mean, I ran the early games, the early GDQs. I ran Mega Man 1.
Mhm.
I ran Mega Man 2. I ran F-Zero,
Oh.
Russian Attack, Mike Tyson's Punch Out,
Oh
um,
yeah, you're good at Punch
Lost
Out. I
Levels,
always forget. You're good at
Lost
everything.
Levels. Yeah, yeah. I did. That was these run. A lot of these runs were very bad, um,
I know
but
you have like a
it happened.
220 Tyson or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did. Well, yeah, that was later.
I'm getting there. 229. You know, I'm coming.
220. Yeah, I did
I'm coming
220
for the
Tyson,
Andrew
and
G Bob.
that one happened. That was like that's like akin to my recent Mario 1 PBs. It's just like boom, boom, boom. I just like got the time got the time down like crazy. Uh yeah, but I ran Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, Lost Levels, Super
Mhm.
Mario World.
The usual.
Um yeah, the usual suspects. Castle I ran Castlevania 1
Mm.
for a while. I was not very good at that. I raced Unk Duck in one of the GDQs and got absolutely destroyed. I expected that. I didn't practice enough. Uh uh what else? I don't know. Plenty of things, but like ran what I could run at that point. Forget forget what else. But that was pretty much it, I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
those were early days when you could kind of just get in and run whatever.
yeah. And then we kind of touched on 2014. That was the first event to hit like 1 million or something. That's when it really blew up, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a I did a co-op run with Big John.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
two people, one controller. That was a good one.
Mhm.
That one got a lot of that was like the worst run ever, but it got a lot of hype and like
I mean, that was
I
just
mean Big
fun.
John, he's extremely charismatic, so
Yeah.
just just uh entertaining, you know.
hmm And then,
Yeah, egg
God, that
rolls.
GDQ was so good. Like, that's where all the crazy punch out things happened. And
Yeah, that was a
I
good
remember
that,
you know, in water in your warpless run, you pull out the
that was
balls
my that
and
was
start
absolutely
juggling.
my best, absolutely hands down my best GDQ run ever by far. Just it was just
What, the
so
Mario one? Or,
yes,
oh.
the warpless Mario 1. It was just so I mean, it's not like it was like the fastest run out there ever. It just went how I wanted to cuz I don't when I do AGDQ runs like I don't really I don't know, a lot of stuff I don't like go all out. I don't know. I'm trying to entertain more than anything just cuz I feel like that's why I'm there. I'm there to entertain. and so I want to put on a show, and I care about how fast I'm going, certainly, but I'm not like, I don't know, I don't take it too seriously, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Hmm.
And for that run, it went exactly how I wanted it to go. Like, I could have maybe tried, like, instead of going for the perfect time, instead I did Small Fire Mario, and I did all these different little things, and I juggled, and I, did a pretty good run, and it was like, I don't know. That was like, I think back fondly to that because I had world record at that point for everything too. I had like everything. I had all the I had any percent world record at that point. I had warpless world record, I think. Um, and I think I had like, I think I had the Mario 2 record at that point.
Hmm.
Uh, and I don't know. It was just like that was like my highlight of my speedrunning career almost.
Prime
Just felt
time.
like, oh, like that's my peak. That was my peak, and then from there, after that point, it ended up being harder to speedrun and such, and uh,
Yeah.
it so happens like things got more competitive after that point.
Hmm.
At the point where I started not being able to compete as easily or as much, uh, but certainly it's still fun to be competitive. I just I don't know. It's like I wish speedrunning got competitive earlier because I'm curious. I'm curious to see how well. I would say I'm curious to see how I would stack up against competition now, but I can still do that, like
Yeah.
going forward if I really want to.
And you
It's
did
just that
try it at pace. Got a taste of it.
yeah, it's just that in my past, it's like I was so competitive. I'm so much more competitive than everyone back in the day. I would just feel like I was way more competitive. Uh, and nowadays things are like that, and and I don't know if I necessarily have the drive I used to, or ability. So um, it's not exactly the same. But I still would like to try. I would like to try my hand at Super Mario Brothers again at some point. Uh, I feel like it. I hope it's not too late. I hope it's not
It's
gonna be too
never
late
too
soon.
late.
If I hurt my hands or something, then it is, you
Oh,
know, or it's just like I am getting older, so I worry that I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to do it. But
I mean,
yeah,
you
I mean
know,
it's really not too. It really isn't ever too late in that sense. But I just I think when I was 17, I think I was probably better at Super Mario Brothers than I am now, to be honest. Uh,
wow.
but um, I don't know. Hard to say. I would like to keep trying though. I think 2025 is gonna be. I think 25 is gonna be a different year for me. I think it's gonna be. I think it will be a resurgence of AndrewG. So we'll see.
We all hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you did like a couple later GDQs though, like post 2014.
I actually only did I only did 2017 actually.
Okay. Was
Um
that the Lost Levels?
that was Super Mario Brothers and Lost Levels Racing with Darbian and Cosmic.
Yeah, that was the big one. That's where you took the photo of all your different cartridges. But and that's
Yes,
when
yeah,
you
that was a good
guys,
that was a fun event. That was a
yeah,
really good one too.
and you all learned
Uh,
Devil Spell, like found out about it
yes,
while in the
that
practice
was a
room.
great event. That was the most fun event I've been to for sure. As
Yeah.
far as like, as far as I don't know, it just was a good time. It's like Super Mario Odyssey was announced that week.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Wow.
um, we all like were in a room and getting super hyped for it, and it was just fun. Uh, got to meet a lot of people like I hadn't met in ever, and uh, and Pace was kind of the same way. I wish I'd been able to go longer for Pace.
Yeah.
Um, but no, but I don't know, 2017. It was just fun. I got to meet Darby and Cosmic finally.
Oh, that
Um,
was their first time meeting them. I guess that makes
yeah,
sense, actually. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Because
That
I
was
do
the
know
yeah. I mean,
Cosmic
that's the
went to like
only
SGDQ 2013, so it was still kind of around. when
Yeah,
you were going.
I've never been to an SGDQ. I've only gone to
Oh, that's right. I
AGDQs.
guess you haven't. Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Um, Surprisingly, I probably could have.
Mhm.
I keep it local. It's easy. I mean, I can. It's on the East Coast. AGDQ is always on the East Coast. I'm on the East Coast, so
Yeah,
it's just easier. I've never
still
been to
there.
a
So come back, please.
yeah. I've never been to an ESA or anything like that either.
Yeah. Well,
So,
that's a bit hard to get to. So understandable.
yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. But yeah, that's the only time I've met them actually. I
Wow.
think right.
I guess so.
Right.
Then yeah.
I think so. Uh, yeah, that's it. So kind of a cool to finally meet them in person. It was cool. The same thing with Pace. It was cool to finally meet everyone.
Hmm.
Uh,
All the newbies.
yes. Yeah.
in com-
Uh,
in the timeline, full timeline, newbies.
yes.
But yeah,
um, yeah, we did. I almost like destroyed everyone at lost levels, but then I soft locked. That was cool.
that's right. Yeah, I remember
I
Cosmic,
was kind of. I was trying to just go off going through the wall, and then I was an
and then you
idiot. And
jumped, and it was
yeah,
all
I'm like,
over.
whoa, wait, what am I doing?
Shouldn't have jumped.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I know, and I'm like, Cosmic's like game overing in the first stage for some reason. Darbian, I don't know, same kind of situation. I don't know what happened.
I
Like
just
he
know
died, and
Cosmic won despite game overing in 1-1, which is
yeah, it
incredible.
was just like Matt. It was like embarrassing.
But it's
It was
called
hilarious though.
entertainment.
Yeah, it was kind of hilarious though. Um, yeah, Darbian was like dying in 1-2 or something, and Cosmic was dying in 1-1. And
You
I'm
were
like,
soft
I don't know
locking in
what. And then
8-4.
I look over, I'm like, what is happening? Are they playing? What's going on?
The 2J curse, truly.
Literally, I'm just like so confused. I'm like, I was only paying attention to my screen for a while there. Um,
Yeah. Entertainment.
It happens though. It happens. I've had so many chokes. I'm like I'm so bad at live events. I really am. I don't know
Uh,
what it is.
yeah, I wouldn't know. No. I can just hit one-handed FPG and then get a 1938. It's fine. No, still
It's
have
so
no
hard.
idea.
It's so hard to do. It's hard to. I think I get like stage fright or something. I swear. I think that's what happens with me. I always feel like I always end
Yeah,
up
I
doing horribly when it matters. It's too bad.
I still get nervous every time, but I've gotten better at managing it. Just feels weird to say, but after doing it so many times, I'm getting used to
Yeah.
it.
Yep. Yeah.
But
I'm good
yeah,
at finishing runs though, and for actual speed running, I'm pretty good at that.
that's
That's
good. That's important.
yeah. So that's a plus.
Hmm.
I feel worse in recent years though. I don't know what that's due to, but maybe just
Lack of
maybe
time
just
being
my
able to dedicate to it. You do have
yeah.
a
It might be
life
just yeah. It
now.
might
I
be
think
me.
that's a little
Other
more
things in
important.
my mind while I'm playing instead of focusing in on the game.
Yes.
Get
You do have
distracted.
more to worry about nowadays, so I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
Uh,
Believe it or not, there are more important things than speedrunning.
I know. I don't know.
Maybe not for me, but definitely for you.
Yes, for sure. Uh, Speedrunning is great though. I always feel like I feel like I feel like it's all about a lot about the community and such. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I always say speedrunning fills my. I have like so many. It fills so many like check marks and what I want like just in a hobby in whatever I do. Like it's fun to like solve problems with speedrunning and try to figure them out and like fun to compete and it's fun to make friends in the community and um just It's just I'm glad that I found the hobby is the thing, and been a very time consuming hobby,
Hmm.
but it's been a very fun hobby, and I don't regret it at all. Even though I've spent so much time with it, I'm glad that I did, and it's brought me some notoriety, even in respect, and I never expected anything like that, uh, and I don't not that that matters, but it's cool to be known. I think everyone wants to be known, at least to some degree. People want to be recognized for what they do and be recognized as a as a player, as someone who's part of the community or whatever. So it's just I'm glad that I got into this, and I'm glad that I've encouraged others to get into it by doing it. So yeah.
I share a lot of that same sentiment for sure. Although it's funny saying it's cool that you discovered the hobby. You almost like kind of created it on your own. Like
It's weird. It is
just
weird.
because it wasn't like a known thing, like all of the people that started like just was doing it already anyway, and it kind of morphed and everyone found it together early on. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
I feel like I feel like a lot of it in the early days were people would always do time trials, like people
Mhm.
try to get good in-game times for different things. Like that's always been a thing, and so in that way speedrunning has kind of always been a thing, but um as far as doing full game runs, that's definitely like a that was definitely a new development. I don't think many people do that, and now that's the main focus of
Now
speedrunning now.
it's everywhere. I guess that's
Right.
an interesting
And
topic. Since you've been around so long, like you see what speed running is now. Like how I don't know, crazy is it to you? Like just how mainstream it is.
yeah, yeah, I'm surprised actually. I mean, I guess like it's weird to me because back in the day, like I don't know, I feel like I'd be all over the internet being like, check out this thing, like I did this speed run, this is cool. And like people would be like, "Oh, that's great." And I always just felt like nobody was interested. That's all.
Hmm.
Like I always felt like I guess I'm just weird. I play these old games and like no people care about modern games. Uh I'm surprised that people actually are involved to the extent they are now because it just didn't seem like people were interested. And sometimes I wonder like I don't know. I talk to people around my age or older, and I'm just like, "Where were you?" Like, well, if you're so interested in it now, why weren't you interested in it a while before? But no, people just didn't know about it.
I
But
didn't
I
find
just
out
find that
until
surprising.
2017. Like
I mean, I
no
just find it
idea.
surprising because post, I had these viral Mario videos, so like, I guess it's just like I think a lot of people though. I mean, most people you talk to with speedrunning, they just say, "Well, I didn't think I could ever do that,"
Hmm.
and I saw that. Yeah, I did see that, but I never thought I would do that, and I didn't ever thought to try because they just thought you're not good enough to do that or whatever. Um, so I think that's probably I think a lot of it was just people just people didn't know that they could do it or people didn't know that it like how to do it or I don't know. Um so I'm just surprised because it just felt so foreign when I was doing it like nobody it just seemed like nobody cared. Um
Yeah.
except when I got like some crazy run and then it's like but then people care and like I don't know.
Yep. People
It's
always
it's
care in
it is strange
hindsight.
for I'm just surprised. I am surprised it is as popular as it is now, even though it's not the most popular thing out there by any means. But certainly, yes, I'm very surprised that it is what it is now, especially games done quick. I never would have expected. I never would have expected it to grow to what it was at what it is now at all at all. So,
Yeah, you were there in the basement, and now here
yep,
they take
there I
over
am.
entire hotels at the edge of cities. Yep.
One thing I want to touch on too is just how much different speedrunning is from what I did.
Hmm.
Because I mean, literally when I started speedrunning, I mean, was I just had a VCR in my room and I played alone in my room and did speedruns, and that's all I did
Yeah,
for
there was no live streaming for a long
there's no
time.
splits. There were no splits. I had maybe I was maybe timing it. Sometimes I would just time afterward. Uh, Usually I would time with a stopwatch. It's like I was not there was no chat. I wasn't recording myself or video of myself. It's just me in the game, and and I think in some ways that was I don't know. It's just different now. I like both aspects of it. I mean I love streaming. I do. It's a lot of fun. Um but back then it's different. But it was good in a different way. Is like you can really focus on the game and like it's like you could get in the zone easier maybe. I don't know how to I almost feel like I was better when I was just playing it. No distractions, nothing. It's just me in the game. That's it. Um and that would kind of make sense. It's like there's nothing else to think about. It's just that. Um, and sometimes I think maybe I was better back then just um, because of how it was, how you did it. And we didn't even. I mean, and even like competing against other people, they were just doing the same thing as I was. We barely talked about strategy. We all just kind of figured the games out on our own. It's like way different than now. It's not. Most games are kind of figured out at least to a large extent, even obscure games. Uh, Back then, it's just like free, you know, like open, like you could play any game and nobody had even like touched on anything yet. Uh, so it's just so much different. That's the point I'm trying to get across. It's just like a different world speedrunning back then versus now.
But still a cool world.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot has changed for good and some bad. I think it's like everything else. Um, it's like people are more competitive and there are more tools and it's easier to learn things and um whatever. Um
Much more beginner
More
friendly, for
social.
sure.
It's more
And more
social than it
social.
used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Uh Social in a different way. I feel like I was very active on Speed Demos Archive forums and such. Like, we would talk a lot. But like it's not even like we would be sharing videos. We'd just be describing. Just, yeah, the spot here. Like it's not very efficient. But but it didn't but it also things weren't that optimized so it didn't have to be. It's just like, you just had to be good in a general sense sometimes. Uh I don't know, like I think about it. It's kind of like it's kind of like speedrunning. When I first started speedrunning Super Mario Brothers, I didn't even know there were frame rules. And think about how different that is from speedrunning now with frame rules
It's all
and
people talk
everything.
about is that damn bus.
Yeah. Like but like Super Mario Bros is so much different. Like when I first was speedrunning when I got a 509, like I knew that there were patterns. I didn't know that like I knew a few things. I knew that there were time increments of 0.35 seconds. Like that was clear to me. I knew that there were patterns. I didn't know that they were recreatable, and I didn't know. Um, just I knew there were some patterns. I recognized some patterns eventually. But it was like a lot of it is just like I'm just winging it. Like 8-3, I can play 8-3 pretty well without knowing any frame rules because I always used to do it that way. I mean, not that it makes that much of a difference, but like even knowing the Bowser pattern, I feel like really that's a like oh that was always like a big deal to me because it's like the frame rules solve the problem of any real randomness, and the Bowser pattern stuff really solve the problem of no randomness. It's like completely solved to the extent that you it can be completely skill based, and
Mhm.
that's it was not really it's like more like back in the day with warpless especially it was like just adapt to what's happening and react uh to a lot different than uh how it is now.
Yep.
um
How things have changed.
yeah, I mean it's like I don't know, it's I feel like things are you're always competing on the same playing field as everyone else, like back in the day, like you're competing against people who also don't know the frame rules and or whatever. So it's like it's like everything has changed, but nothing has changed. Everything is kind of you're always competing against people on your same with the same knowledge that you are.
Mhm.
So yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to, I don't even know what I'm trying to
It's
say
impossible
ultimately.
to hide anything anymore.
Yeah. It's more like it's different in good and bad ways. And I think it's better in a lot of ways. I think I don't know. I just miss I miss some aspects of the old days. Um as far as like I think because I think you know what I think it is? I think it's because back in the day everyone was just trying to solve people were solving the games. Everyone was solving the games. Nobody was just uh playing a solved game basically. So
Mhm.
that's I liked that. And still there's so many games that are not solved. And with Super Mario Brothers, I am conflicted on. I love that it has reached the point that it has, but I also kind of hate that there's nothing more to find, basically, because it makes me sad.
Mhm.
Because it's like because I spent so much time trying to find things in the game, and now there's nothing left. So it's like bittersweet, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, running out of things to ask. I mean, is there anything out of your full history that we haven't touched on that's worth touching on? You'd know better than I.
Um, what I can think of is more just I don't know. Um, I did a lot of arcade stuff, not
Oh, we
speedrunning.
didn't even talk about really anything arcade. Yeah, okay, let's do that.
I've done a little bit of arcade stuff. I mean, I like that stuff. Um I got interested in it kind of late compared to a lot of people. I mean, late. There was the thing is that a lot of the arcade players, almost all the arcade players, are older than I am. Understandably, uh, like Billy Mitchell, all those people, they're all like 50s now, almost 60s, or they are in their 60s, some of them. Um, So it's like I was competing against some of these guys like 15 years ago. Um but yeah, I really like the arcade stuff. It's has a lot of similarities to speedrunning and not many people. I mean, it's you got to have like the same mindset as far as trying to get a world record for an arcade game as speedrunning. It's very very similar. Arcade game stuff is just
Score
a
go
lot
up
less
instead of number
entertaining.
go down or time go
Yeah,
down.
it's a lot less entertaining than speedrunning. It's more tedious. The projects are usually longer. I mean, they can be like, you're playing for 12 hours on one thing, and it's like, it just is. Who wants to watch that? But it's like, but competing, it's kind of the same as speedrunning. Um, but it's kind of a dead thing now, unfortunately. It's kind of really starting to die, and I get annoyed with that. But um, but there's still there's still like speedrunning, the marks on the leaderboard are still there even from whenever. You don't have to have live competitors to compete against a historical leaderboard. So in that way, it's still fun. Um, but there aren't a lot of active competitors on the games, which is sad. Um, but yeah, I played. My main games were Donkey Kong. I have a kill screen in Donkey Kong. I did that in 2011. My highest score is 946,900, which I got in 2015. Did not get a million points, but got pretty close, like 50th in the world or something.
Hmm.
But that was fun. That's a tough game. That's a really tough game. Cosmic got a kill screen recently too, actually.
I was there for it actually.
Oh yeah.
Very unexpected, like doubled his high
Summoning
score.
Salt. Summoning Salt got one screen, one level screen
Yes,
away from the kill screen. Feel very bad for him for that.
close enough.
But anyone, I mean, that's super impressive. Getting a kill screen is very difficult. Uh, but yeah, I those were fun. Um, I did high score for Super Mario Brothers also,
Mhm.
arcade and NES, which nobody does. I actually would love to see people pick that up.
Hey, you had
I
that one
mean, some
competition that I
people do it.
won. Thanks for the $100.
Yes, yeah. Jay the Wook, uh, he's very good. Uh, some people have picked it up. I came up with a lot of. I came up with this show. Sorry, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was a little buggy there. I think we're good
sorry, I don't know,
now.
but yeah, those were fun, and especially I had a huge rivalry with a guy named Triforce. Some people know that as he's a little bit of a controversial person, kind of like not to the extent that Billy Mitchell or Todd Rogers is, but he's definitely a controversial guy.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, he was involved with fighting game communities and such,
Mm.
but very very passionate person. He was a nice guy, but little took it a little bit too far uh in his this I don't know. I don't know what it is, but the arcade scene has some really there's people who are really into it. I mean, I I don't even know how to explain it more than I am, and that's the best I
More
can
than
describe
anyone
it. If you're
should
more
be.
you are more into it than I am, there's a problem.
Fair enough.
Um, I just will just say that. Um, because it shouldn't be your whole life. That's the gist of it.
Mhm.
But it's to each their own. But but anyway, I had a lot of fun with that stuff. I had the world record for high score for Super Mario Brothers Arcade and NES. Uh, I came up with a lot of the strategies. It was fun. Had a big rivalry with that guy Triforce. Uh, he may have cheated at his highest score. I don't know. I think he was probably legit,
Drama.
but
No.
yeah, no, they're really it's like it's twin galaxies.
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
a big deal. Everything's a drama. There's no and nobody will provide proof to each other because all secrets are secret and
Yeah.
uh,
I'm
you're
glad
allowed to
speedrunning
just
is not
keep
quite like that.
secrets. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
but but I had a good time with arcade stuff. I'm kind of sad that it's been dying off. I love there's certain arcade games that are really fun, like Miss Pac-Man and Frogger.
Yeah.
Uh, because Miss Pac-Man's it's a really good game for high score, way better than the original Pac-Man. Um,
Yeah, that has it where you
but
can phase through the ghosts. I know you brought it up earlier, but that's where I remember that.
yeah, but Yeah, but that whole scene, that's kind of where I started a little bit. Like it was that and speedrunning, and I've dabbled in Super Smash Brothers Melee. Like I'm okay at that. Uh, I can like I can hold my own at least a little bit, but I never really got great at it. But I kind of stick my foot into everything. Like I'm really involved with the NES Tetris scene too. Like I
Really?
at least
Okay.
well, like I used to talk with Harry Hong, the first guy who got
Oh
a
yeah.
max out
Hmm.
on I used to talk with him on like AIM, like AOL back in the day, like wicked old stuff. Uh like like before we even had the max out, just like involved with that stuff. Uh like Ben Mullen, a lot of the older competitors. Um uh but yeah, I just like to stick my foot in the door with all these things. Dip my foot in the water. Just like I like to compete on games, and I've kind of competed on like anything you can think of that's retro at this point. Uh, and hopefully I can keep doing some stuff. I'd love to like. I'm so optimistic, and I know these things will never happen. Like I'd love to get the Donkey Kong arcade world record. It's never gonna happen. Don't think I have the
Hey,
motivation
never
to do
say
it.
never, but
I was really like trying to at one point, and I got kind of close, not really, but um, it takes the kind of dedication it does to get the Super Mario Brothers record. It's just not. I
no,
don't
yeah.
I don't have that motivation for Donkey Kong. I don't. I
That
love the
high score
game,
is
but
crazy. Like
oh, it's crazy. Yeah,
absurd.
it's like on par with a 454. Like if not,
Oh,
it's like the same. I don't know. It's really crazy. So
yeah.
um, I'm never going to get that world record. I have accepted that. Though I would maybe try. I don't know if I really have it in me anymore.
Hmm. Someone's
Um,
asking what you do.
oh, well, I, uh, I don't know. I'm not gonna really get into it right now, but
Fair enough.
uh, things are good. That's all. That's what I'll say right now. Things are going good. I
That's
just
good. That's all that
got
matters,
a
really.
lot going on. Got a lot going on.
Life, yes.
Yeah, life exactly.
Life is
Um,
good.
yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I'd love to try and like all the games I've played. Like, I'd love to try and get a max out in Tetris or something. No, nowhere close at this point. Like, I'd love to try and get like really good at Melee or something, and again, nowhere close. Or Mario 64. Who knows? Anything,
That'd be fun.
everything. Yeah, but I try everything, and I love it. And um, I like to see where I stand with things, even if I can't get anywhere close to the top. It's fun to see for me where I stand and compete, and that's why I'm still doing it. And it's been a really fun hobby. Like it's just been so fun. It's been great to meet people, and it's all it's it's all because of the community. It's
Hmm.
all um, just fulfilling in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Now again, community is my favorite part of everything. It's the thing I'm most
Yeah,
grateful for about finding the hobby. So, and I think
yeah,
most people share that sentiment. I should hope so anyway.
yeah,
But yeah, I guess we've
yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. That's about it.
yeah,
I've played everything.
yeah, true.
All you
We
need to know is that if you like ask me if I speed ran a game, like there's like a decent chance if it's a fairly popular game.
yeah.
uh,
Well, there we
I've at
go.
least done a draft run.
Mhm. There's the history of Andrew G. We did it.
Yeah.
We're done. Well,
In 2025, maybe I'll do a lot more. We'll see.
hmm so yeah, I guess we'll start wrapping things up, and I always end by asking about future plans. So, if there's something for sure or just ideas, like
Um.
if you're coming back in 2025, I want to see it. So tell us all about
Okay. So,
it.
well, I was thinking about an idea just a few weeks ago, and I probably am going to have a series on YouTube
Mm,
that might have has a little bit, will probably have a little bit to do with speedrunning, but just retro games as a whole. Or maybe not just even exclusively retro games, but I kind of yeah, I'm excited to maybe I'm gonna try to do a series of it's basically, I mean, the gist of it, I don't know how to get into this, but the gist of it is like, is this like doing challenges,
hmm.
interesting challenges, and kind of showing my progress as I go through the challenges.
Ooh, okay.
So we'll see how that goes, and that will probably involve a lot of speedruns. Uh,
Interesting. Keeping
yeah,
it a little vague. I
uh,
like it.
yeah. No, it's it's still an idea. I've kind of like it's going to happen.
Okay.
It's an idea. It will
Gotta let it
happen. I
cook.
have it.
I
I have
understand.
it. I'll have it like I have a really good foundation of what I want to do, and I will do it. I'm looking forward to doing that, and it'll allow me to play some more variety. Um, but would like to also do Super Mario Brothers speedrun attempts. I hope to do that at some point, probably after a few other games. Uh, and the other thing is, I might just revisit a ton of games and just spend a few days, weeks, months on different ones, and that I have speedrun in the past but never submitted, which is about 1,000 games. Uh, and literally, probably. Um, so I may just submit like a million speedruns in the next few months. So we'll see.
Fair enough.
What I feel like doing too, I feel like playing a lot of variety. So I think that I think I probably will end up doing that because I feel excited to do that. I feel like, oh, I'm gonna go play some games that I haven't played in a long time, and kind of revisit that nostalgia and just have a good time with it.
Hmm. Well, sounds like a plan. So,
Yeah, got a lot of things in store. Hopefully, I hope that things are different. I think things are gonna be. I think things are probably going to be how they used to be for my gaming stuff. We'll see though.
mm,
We'll see.
well,
Yeah.
we're all looking forward to it. So, let me tell you that. Well, I guess that's everything. I
Well, thank you
I
for
think we did
yeah.
it.
Yeah, hopefully that's enough.
Mhm.
I hopefully I
Oh,
didn't rant too much.
I think you did a great job. So, nice, lengthy, almost 4 hour long episode.
Yeah.
Not beating the Summoning Salt episode record unless you want to talk for 30 more minutes, but we got there.
I think we covered everything.
I
Maybe.
think so.
Maybe.
I
Well,
mean,
I'll just start talking about yeah, remember yeah, I used to speedrun House of the Dead. That was fun.
yeah. Anyway.
A PC back in 1992. No. Or like 2000. Now,
Yeah.
now I think I'm good. But
Yeah,
thank you for
I think we did it. We did good. So, yep,
thank you for having me.
no problem.
This was a lot of fun.
Glad we did this for episode 100. Don't know how I've done 100 episodes, but here we are. So,
Yeah. I'm glad to finally be on one. I was wondering if I would. I was assuming I would be eventually.
I mean, we have tried to make this work for quite a while. It just the
Yeah,
timeline never
yeah,
worked.
it's I know it's entirely on me because I'm just chaos all the time.
Life.
So,
Yes, I understand.
yeah, exactly
But we
life.
but we got there and it worked out perfectly. Big episode
Yes.
100 special. Here's to 100 more
Yes.
episodes. Oh my god, help me. No.
100.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. If you're watching live, the YouTube video will be up in like a week and a half. It'll be right after GDQ's over. I'm doing these a little out of order live, but they'll be in order on YouTube. It's whatever. they'll be in A order. That's all that matters. Keep watching the show. Even though we've done 100 episodes, I don't plan on stopping. Um, and since we've hit episode 100, that means I've almost done this for 2 straight years. Oh gosh. When will it end?
Time's flying, always.
Yep. And yeah, I guess that'll do it. Feel free to self-promote all your stuff. Let's not just talk about me. I mean, you were here for a while too.
Thank you guys all for watching. Thanks for having me, GTAs. Appreciate the shout out. Yeah, so I'm live at twitch.tv/AndrewG. I am not live very much at all lately, but hopefully I'll be streaming a lot next year.
2025, right? Yeah.
2025, we'll see. I plan to. I hope to. And I have a YouTube channel. It's AndrewG Speedrun. That one I'm gonna try to refine it and make it not so like disorganized like everything in my life. Would like to start a series. I'm trying very hard to actually do YouTube content. So hopefully that happens, and stay tuned on my YouTube stuff if you're interested.
Yes.
I hope to actually put like considerable effort into this. So, and I'm excited to try it. So we'll see what happens. But 2025, hopefully a lot of good stuff from me.
And then
after such a long period of not doing much at all, hopefully 2025 will be a lot different.
But yeah,
and better. Yeah,
and
I really do hope that 2025 is like my comeback year. That's
we're all hoping for it.
I just need to get more sleep and do more things and get more organized, and I can do all those things.
It's hard, but doable.
Yeah, it is hard. Life is hard.
And then I'll link both YouTube channels. AndrewG 1990 is the archive, and then AndrewG Speedrun is the current going to be used, hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then
thank you.
I'll link Twitter as well, and then you should join Blue Sky. We miss you. Anyway.
Oh yeah, my Twitter. I'm a psychopath. Just
yeah, I mean,
probably don't follow me on Twitter. I'm too crazy on
or
Twitter.
just stay off of Twitter forever. That's the correct option.
Yeah, hopefully refine my Twitter too. I really hope I want to have like a serious everything.
Yeah.
Going forward, I would love to be not a crazy goofball, but that's who I am though. So there you go.
Fair enough. All right. Well,
I'm AndrewG, and I'm a crazy person.
Can't think of a better ending than that. So.
And I'm a weirdo.
Fair enough.
I am
Aren't we all, though?
Eccentric. I don't know what the word is. but I love video games, and I like to chat about video games. So if you're interested in video games, give me a follow.
True. All should do such. All right. Well, that'll be the end of the show for today, everyone. Thank you for watching. I will go ahead and just say follow the show, follow my links as well. And then all links to me and Andrew will be in the YouTube description if you're watching there. So, yeah. That will be all from us. Thank you for this episode 100 spectacular, or whatever I'll call it. Stay tuned for more.
And thank you to everyone who's watching.
All right. We all wish you well. Take care. Bye.